CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hello, it's 6 o'clock on Thursday, May 28th. Another mostly sunny day. Could be a bit breezier, though. A high of 22 expected, and we'll get you the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, the news begins, and we say good morning to Lisa Best.
Good morning. Thank you, Ryan. BC's love of alcohol is subject to a new report from the Office of the Provincial Health Officer. The report says that as of 2023, people in this province averaged 8.8 drinks per week. That compared to the national average of 8.2. It finds, of course, that drinking less, 1 or 2 drinks per week, is better for your long-term health. Dr. Bonnie Henry has some specific recommendations for government to consider.
What we would like to see is specific labels on bottles, but also on where you purchase alcohol. So shelf talkers, as they call them, and labels in places like bars. We do have a program already in where certain labels have to be in bars and restaurants where alcohol can be consumed, but they need to be updated more frequently, and we need to look at the language in those. And I think there's some willingness on the part of industries to be involved in that as well.
Among the recommendations is making everyone more aware of the health risks of drinking alcohol and to implement changes at the point of sale, such as requiring warning labels on the packaging. A 41-year-old man has been banned from driving for a day his wheels curved following a suspected DUI collision in Colwood. It happened Tuesday in the Royal Bay Drive and Promenade Crescent area. A 27 Focus crashed into a fence and then a fire hydrant. Police found the Ford Focus and the driver nearby in Bunker Road. Police said the driver was showing signs of drug impairment at the time. The man was also fined for failing to remain at the scene of the collision. A 24-year-old Esquimalt man in hot water facing charges and fines following a motorcycle chase last week in central Saanich. Last Thursday, police received a report of a suspicious bike traveling northbound on the Pat Bay Highway. The caller gave them the license plate of the 1980s Honda Goldwing. Police determined it was insured. When the officer tried to stop the bike, the rider, who had a passenger on board, instead sped away. Police decided not to give a chase at the time because of safety reasons. The motorcycle then tracked down in the 6800 block of East Saanich Road. The rider again attempting to evade police, but becoming stuck between concrete barriers separating the Keating Cross Road on-ramp from the highway. Police say charges have been recommended and several tickets issued to this Esquimalt individual. The tab for the recent botched judicial review of the trustees fired from the Victoria District School Board has come in. It's just under $420,000. Education Minister Lisa Bear says that number includes the trustees' salaries, but not the legal fee reimbursement. She says the school safety plans for District 61, which led to the firing of the trustees, are in place.
What we do have in place now, though, is a robust safety plan that was co-created by community with parents, with students, with First Nations, with stakeholders that address the concerns that we had in the ministry. That remains in place. And so, all of that work that was done is there. All of the work that was done over this past year remains. The official budget, all the work that was done by the official trustee and just regular governance, that all remains.
She says the price tag will be covered by the province and it will not come out of the school district's budget. We'll have a better idea what hosting the World Cup in Vancouver is going to cost us as of tomorrow. Those numbers come in. That's the expected date of the report, just one day after the BC legislature breaks today. Tourism Minister Anne Kang was asked by reporters why the numbers won't be released today.
Well, this is a very large-size event with lots of different complications and ever-evolving information that are coming in. We have seen that we know the 5 games that are coming. We have updated on what kind of security and safety measures that we need, and we will continue to work on this. But the numbers continue to evolve, and we want to provide the most accurate and clear updates as we can. And so Friday is the projected time that we will be providing that.
There will be 7 games played in Vancouver, including at least 2 involving the Canadian team. The games begin in Vancouver on June 13th. And Prime Minister Mark Carney is in New York City today trying to drum up some U.S. business investment. CTV's Graham Richardson has a preview of his speech before the Economic Club.
He's seeing institutional investors look at Canada in a positive way for the first time in a long time. The challenge for the Carney government, converting that into tangible benefits for Canadians. Carney's advisors say his speech here will be a sales pitch for Canada at a time when many people are concerned and the Americans continue to turn inwards.
Meanwhile, Canada still seems to be on the outside looking in when it comes to the trade issue, as the U.S. has began formal negotiations with Mexico this week on trade. That's your news to 6:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question is the higher cost of living, including the higher fuel prices, causing you to alter your summer travel plans. 49% saying yes on our website, but that number jumps to 71% on Twitter X. You can vote, social media, CFAX1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time is 6:06.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning. Welcome to the day. Mostly sunny again today and warm. Full forecast to come. Over to the sports. Victoria Shamrocks in action last night for the second game of their young season, and they pulled off a road win, 11-4 over the Langley Thunder. Those same two teams play again tomorrow, this time at the Q Centre in Colwood. Now over to hockey, where the Montreal Canadiens are in must-win territory now after falling behind 3-1 in the NHL's Eastern Conference Final against the Carolina Hurricanes. The Canadiens lost 4-0 at home in Game 4 last night as the crowd begged the team to shoot the puck. Canadiens captain Nick Suzuki says the loss is not attributed, in his mind, to not shooting the puck.
We're a good offensive team. I feel like we're just, some execution right at the end isn't there right now, and we got to find a way to be better at that.
Game 5 goes tomorrow in North Carolina. And for the men's soccer team, they continue to practice at their training camp, and Coach Jesse Marsh is expected to narrow down his 32-man camp roster to his 26-player World Cup roster by tomorrow. The team's been training in Charlotte, North Carolina in a pre-tournament camp. Canada's first Group B match is June 12th in Toronto against Bosnia-Herzegovina. And the Blue Jays beat the Miami Marlins 2-1 at the Rogers Center yesterday as they continue to slowly turn around a poor start to the season, winning 6 of the last 8 games. Backup catcher Tyler Heideman's defense went a long way in this one as he caught 4 different Marlins base runners' attempts to steal a base. The first catcher to do that in the majors since 2011.
He's going. It's strike 3 called. The throw down. Clement gets after him and tags him out. And the Marlins are retired.
Strike him out, throw him out. They ran right into it.
Wow.
The Jays are now off to Baltimore for a 4-game series that starts tonight. The team is bringing a top prospect with them, calling up infielder Charles Mikado. He's been a star in the minors so far this year with 8 home runs and 27 RBIs in 49 games. That is your CFAX 1070 Sports to 6:09. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather, taking a first look at the roads. Nothing unusual yet so far. If you see a crash or accident, you can text me at 71010. But yeah, the commute is clear so far right now. BC Ferries, we've got no sailing wait. 7 o'clock sailing has lots of room. So let's talk about the weather. Mainly sunny today. We got some light winds expected off the Juan de Fuca Strait. Highs of 22 degrees. Always a little cooler by the water. But yeah, another fairly warm day today. Mostly sunny. Now, a few clouds rolling in tonight. Lows down to 12. And we've got a new blip in the forecast that wasn't there this time yesterday. Now looking at maybe a chance of showers in the morning tomorrow. It doesn't last. It clears up and actually gets sunny for later in the day, but just a small chance of some scattered showers in the morning tomorrow before we do head towards a mix of sun and cloud and what should be dry conditions through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures in the low teens through the next few days after today. For the temperatures right now, let's take a look around the region. If you are in, let's say, the Shawnigan Lake neighborhood, it's 11 degrees right now. In downtown Victoria, it's 13 degrees. Opening bells for North American stock markets ringing later this hour. So while we await today's first results, let's take a look at how yesterday closed with Aaron Sousa.
Canada's main stock index dipped yesterday from weakness in the basic materials sector. Toronto's S&P TSX lost 241 to close at 34,412. In New York, the Dow gained 182 and the Nasdaq was up slightly by 18. In Tokyo this morning, the Nikkei lost 306 points. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong fell by 322. Our dollar is trading this morning at 72 and 18 cents U.S. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in New York City. He's expected to meet with business leaders and pitch Canada as a prime spot for investment. He'll also speak at the Economic Club of New York. China's foreign minister arrives in Ottawa for a 3-day visit. It's the first such visit in 10 years. The trip should see talks about the Canada-China strategic partnership, trade, and global security. And roughly 300 signals and communications workers at CPKC could walk off the job Sunday. Their union says sticking points include wages and retention issues. CPKC says contingency plans are in place. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Aaron Sousa.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us here as we get this Thursday kicked off in Victoria. I'm Ryan. We got Lisa here. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning, Ryan. I had to press some buttons there to keep myself present and accounted for present.
There's so many buttons to press,
right?
Keeping this radio
all the
station
red
going.
Ones. It's confusing first thing in the morning.
Well, glad you could be here with us today. It's going to be another beautiful day. We've got some sunshine. We've got more Spam-A-Lot tickets to give away.
Yes.
So sometime later in the show, we'll ask another listener to call us and perform some sort of Monty Python sketch. We've been doing this all this week. And if you do it and we pick you to perform the Monty Python sketch of your choice and as much or as little as you want to do.
And make us proud.
Yeah, you'll get a pair of tickets to see Spam-A-Lot coming to the Royal Theatre in August. So that's coming up on the show again. Stand by for your chance to win.
Wonderful.
That's coming. I'm also, you've... Yes. In the news, Lisa, have the story that's interesting. This one about the alcohol amounts that we're drinking.
Yes.
So this study, University of Victoria, they've got this Institute for Substance Use Research, and they've got this report out. Dr. Bonnie Henry, Provincial Medical Health Officer, talking about it as well, making some recommendations, because I guess we're still drinking a lot, and the amounts were interesting.
It's called the pandemic?
Yeah, well, during the pandemic, we hit the most drinking, apparently.
It was the one thing that was open all the time, it seemed, was the liquor store.
What else are you going to do? You're home alone anyways. So
Bake bread.
Apparently, we've seen a big decline in drinking from the pandemic, but we're still drinking more than they would like to see.
More than the average Canadian.
And more than the average Canadian. That was what I thought was interesting. I wonder why BC is so wildly different. So apparently the average British Columbian consumes 8.8 standard size drinks. That's a 17 milliliter drink, they say, per week.
How many ounces is that? In layman's terms.
Yeah, a standard 17 milliliter drink. What is that?
We'll have a 17 millimeter drink,
Google
please,
searching.
bartender. What is 17 millimeters? Is that like a shot or two?
It's a wine glass. Imagine.
Okay, so 5 ounces, because that's considered a serving of wine, according to the people in the know who are trying to keep us healthy.
Now I guess that's the measurement of the alcohol content, not the drink itself. So like a standard size wine glass is way more milliliters but it's that much milliliters of alcohol. It's a weird measurement. I'm going to just say they're saying standard drink.
Just
imagine
have your
a
drink,
beer.
right. Okay.
Imagine a wine
So we're
glass.
having 9 drinks
a week,
essentially. Okay.
That's what I think it means. Now, so 8.8 of them for the average British Columbian. The national average is 8.2. But get this.
What?
Island Health Region.
Yes.
Our average is 11.5.
Oh, we win.
We are drinking even more than the average British Columbian. I thought that was interesting.
It is interesting.
I would never have guessed.
I don't know. Maybe it's because we have really good alcohol around here.
Maybe
people make it well, so people want to consume it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I'm trying to have fun with it. I'm not trying to make light of it. I know they're telling us to cut it out, basically. In layman's terms, Dr. Bonnie Henry speaking yesterday saying what she'd like to see with more labeling that. I don't know if labeling's going to do it. What is going to do it is just as on an individual basis saying, okay, I know this isn't good for me, and I've got to taper it off.
Yeah. Should bottles of booze have alcohol-related cancer risks kind of like cigarettes do? That's something they're talking about?
They already have something. It's just not as large as they'd like it to be.
It's not as big and graphic, yeah.
It's not the whole thing.
And then this minimum pricing thing they're recommending is interesting to me because I don't necessarily think of alcohol as being a cheap thing.
No,
there's so much tax on it. It's already vastly more expensive in British Columbia than it is like anywhere else you'll go except for maybe some other parts of Canada. But I mean, if you go to like Alberta, and you'll notice the liquor prices are just so much cheaper. And you're like, oh, okay, well, we're already paying so much in taxes and fees here in BC. It just seems odd that, like, let's make it even more expensive. It clearly doesn't seem to be causing an effect because it's already super expensive.
They're not
and apparently we're drinking
us.
more already
They're not
than
trying
the
to
rest
tax us
of
out of
British
drinking.
Columbia.
Correct. They're not trying to tax us out of drinking. They're capitalizing on it. The fact that we're drinking so much is government capitalizing on it.
They make a lot of money off it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's one of the sin taxes. The same with cigarettes. How much in a package of cigarettes actually goes to taxes? The vast majority of it. Any of the sin taxes is what lines the government coffers for the most part. And I'm not saying that's the only way the government gets money, but if you want to imbibe or if you want to smoke or you want to do these things, it's going to cost more because they want you to cut it out. So it's like trying to price dangerous vehicles off the road too in actuarial land. You put the taxes or the insurance so high, you just don't want to drive or ride it. It's a similar kind of situation, but does it stop people?
Well, in this case, apparently not, because we drink more than everybody else, despite it being very expensive already. So, anyways, I just thought that was a fascinating,
bit of
news that you've been telling us.
It's here, it's local, it's Island Health, it's your neighbors, it's you.
Yeah.
So, again, it comes down to the individual. If we're having, 9 drinks a week?
Well, about that, 8.8 for BC. It's over 11 for Vancouver Islanders.
Okay, so we're having 11 drinks a week, and they're saying 1 to 2 is healthy? Ish?
Yeah,
Healthy-ish.
that's the... Yeah. So we're a bit above that. Now,
All right.
I will point out one other stat. Apparently, it's people 65 and older that account for most of that.
Well, they've been through more rodeos.
Maybe. And it's younger folks actually are seeing less. So it's not a universal across all ages and genders. It's men 65 and older that seem to have the highest amount in this study. But there you go. It's in the news today. But what else is in the news? At 6:18, here's Lisa with the headlines.
BC Ferries naming their boats because it's bad luck not to. BC Ferries announcing the names for the new major vessels, introducing the Summit class with the individual vessels named after trees found in BC. So the first 4 vessels will be named Summit Arbutus, Summit Cedar, Summit Maple, and Summit Spruce. The new major vessels project is a key part of BC Ferries' long-term fleet renewal program. The first 4 vessels in the Summit class were approved by the BC Ferries Commission in 2025 and are expected to enter service beginning in 2029, with all 4 vessels anticipated to be in service by 2031. So you'll see a lot more trees on the water. The neighbors aren't too happy with the city of Duncan. The city announcing it's launched an independent technical study to explore what realignment of the boundaries with the municipality of North Cowichan could actually look like. It will look at the potential impacts of adjusting the municipal boundary on services, governance, and finances, expected to be complete by August. The city says it's responding to interest through everything from referendums to citizen assemblies since 2014. They add the size is not about amalgamation, but about boundaries. And a 3-person citizen advisory panel will be established to provide input during the study process. And do you have a Beyblade? If you do, you're not alone. The spinning battle-top toys that whirled through playgrounds around the world in the early 2000s are actually seeing a resurgence, especially here in Canada. Adults who grew up with these around 25 years ago are now leading the wave of fandom. Hasbro licenses the toys in North America. Jack Lee from Vancouver started hosting tournaments in the area in 2022. He says there used to be hundreds of events in North America. Now there's hundreds every month. Colton Derrick from Up Island in Cumberland. He says he launched a Vancouver Island Beyblade League 2 years ago that currently has 120 members. He says Beyblades have captured people's nostalgic memories. Pretty cool. That's your news to 6:20.
A few moments ago, we were talking about alcohol and how much we're drinking. And, it's a risk to our health. But apparently, for the third year in the row, something else is being considered the province's top safety risk. And that is carbon monoxide. Why is carbon monoxide such an issue? We've got the president and lead executive officer of Technical Safety BC. They're the group who lists carbon monoxide as a big risk for us. They're going to explain why in just a moment.
CFAX 1070 wants to send you to see Monty Python's Spam-A-Lot at the Royal Theatre this August. Listen to Mornings with Ryan and Lisa on CFAX for your chance to win your way in. Details at cfax1070.com.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Nothing really on the roads to note at the moment other than paving work will be back on Cook, either side of Finlayson. It's going on again today. It's all this week. And then we've also got the water main work at Quadra near Caledonia, which is actually just going to be on, I think, until the fall. That's just a long-term project. So ongoing construction delays, but otherwise things are looking very clear right now. We've got no sailing weight at BC Ferries, and the weather, it's mainly sunny today, highs of 22 degrees. A few clouds tonight, but it's going to cloud over by morning, and we've even got now a small chance of scattered showers for Victoria in the morning tomorrow with all those clouds rolling in, but then it clears up again. We're back to sunshine for the rest of Friday and the weekend, and a few clouds in there too, but some sunshine and temperatures more into the high teens rather than the low 20s after we hit tomorrow and the weekend.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at cfax1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Carbon monoxide, apparently the province's top safety risk for the third year in a row, according to Technical Safety BC's annual State of Safety report. Their president and lead executive officer, Phil Goda, is joining us on the line. Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Good morning, Ryan.
Great to get you here. Why is carbon monoxide the top safety risk?
Yeah, it is still the top safety risk. We are still seeing incidents and also some tragic events. I think the main reason why is that we still have a number of structures and homes where people do not have carbon monoxide alarms. And it's also that generally folks don't fully understand the symptoms of carbon monoxide exposure. So they're very similar to flu-like symptoms, nausea and vomiting, and maybe they get mixed up with just actually having a flu or being a little hungover or something. And also, folks, I think they don't understand that there are some appliances in a home. So whether it's our gas range or our furnace or our gas hot water heater, these are all appliances that do burn gas and natural gas. And if they're not maintained properly and inspected periodically by a licensed contractor, then they can malfunction and you can get carbon monoxide in spaces. So it's really not having alarms and maybe just having a lack of awareness.
Now, the context is in your home, or are there other places where this is a problem?
Yeah, it is other places as well. I think we sometimes don't think about it when we go on vacation. So we are renting sometimes Airbnbs and things like that. We also go out in RVs. So they also have gas-burning appliances in them. And again, if they're not maintained and there is no carbon monoxide alarm, there is a potential hazard there as well. So it's also during vacation times in cottages. Unfortunately, we've also seen some incidents where people are bringing gas firing appliances inside garages and in some cases even inside RVs and tents and things like that.
So, Phil, I have a gas stove at home in my kitchen.
Yes.
How concerned should I be about that?
You should not be concerned. These appliances are generally safe, but I would strongly recommend, if you don't have it, that you have a carbon monoxide alarm. So they do age after they get quite old and aged. There is always a risk. Now, with a gas range, there is first of all, if there's a gas leak, it's not the same as a carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is the product of burning the gas. So in the gas range situation, if you don't have a good vent, a good fan above it, that would be probably the potential hazard if you were cooking and the carbon monoxide came in. But generally, gas ranges all appliances are built to be safe, and installed properly with a licensed contractor will be safe. They just need to be maintained. And again, I would say always have an alarm in the home.
And one other question about, you said flu-like symptoms. How long does it take for it to become deadly? Like, how much time do you have? How does it work?
It depends on how big the exposure is. We have unfortunately seen some situations where the exposure was very high in a very small space, and it can overcome a person very quickly. Now, those are very rare. Most of the time, in a space the size of a home, you would have sort of, as long as you're in the home, you would start to have continuing symptoms, and that is something that, again, should be thought of, and the awareness would help. And again, I'm going to keep saying the message, but if there is a carbon monoxide alarm, that you would put the two together, because the alarm would go off.
I guess that's the big takeaway here is, maybe all this stuff is safe in your house, or maybe it isn't. How do you know? Get an alarm? Is that sort of the bottom line?
That is always the best. It's the number one thing to do. They're not particularly expensive. I was looking on the Rona website there. I think for $30, you can even get a battery one that you just can take with you. So that is really the biggest takeaway. And it is also very useful to understand that carbon monoxide, it is invisible, it's odorless, it's tasteless. And so just having an awareness that when you're feeling nauseous or flu-like, it's good to know what the symptoms are. And, I guess one more thing I would say is it's not just from gas appliances. It can be running your vehicle in the garage. So it comes from gasoline, or if you still have a wood-burning fireplace, or maybe a cottage with a wood-burning heating system, the byproducts of burning wood also produce carbon monoxide.
He's the president of Technical Safety BC, Phil Goda. Thanks so much for talking to us today, and good things to think about.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll leave it there because the 6:30 news is next on CFAX, but more to come.
Next time on the TED Radio Hour.
Cardiologist Sandeep Johar says heartache isn't just a figure of speech.
The heart can acutely weaken in response to heartbreak or grief. It's sort of the organ on which our emotions are most deeply written.
How heartache changes us. That's next time on the TED Radio Hour from NPR.
TED Radio Hour. Listen Sundays on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
All right, it's 6:32 on Thursday, May 28th. Let's get to the news. And with the top stories of the day, here is Lisa Best.
Thank you and good morning. Prime Minister Mark Carney in the Big Apple today, meeting with business leaders as the relationship between Canada and the U.S. remains rocky ahead of a review of the Continental Trade Pact.
The Prime Minister's office has not identified the CEOs, entrepreneurs, business leaders, and money managers that Prime Minister Mark Carney is expected to meet, but it says he is pitching Canada as an investment destination. Carney's also set to deliver remarks at the Economic Club of New York, outlining Canada's new economic strategy and the progress made so far. The trip comes as Mexican and American officials meet this week for negotiations on the Canada-U.S.-Mexico Agreement on Trade. The United States has not officially launched negotiations with Canada. Kelly Malone, The Canadian Press, New York.
Longtime Liberal MP Stephen Guilbeault hanging up the political towel yesterday, officially announcing his resignation from Parliament, taking issue with the government's shifting climate policies as part of what he refers to a culture war on the issue.
The Quebec MP says Canada has taken its foot off the gas in the fight against climate change.
Commitments that we made to Canadians mentioned climate change 28 times. It did not mention pipeline once.
His departure was also celebrated by Alberta's premier, who once called Guilbeault radical.
I'm glad to see him go. He has done more to damage national unity probably than any other politician.
Guilbeault did say he's not the only member of the Liberal caucus who's uncomfortable with what's happening on climate change. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Green Party leader Elizabeth May expressing her disappointment on him stepping down.
This government has turned its back on climate, and I am, as a grandmother, both enraged and heartbroken, and I know what's happening in terms of climate science. These are not political targets. They're essential. We have a pro-fossil fuel, pro-pipeline, anti-environmental regulation, anti-First Nations rights government, and I didn't expect that. I thought it would be good.
May also points out there's never been a 2-week parliamentary break in May before, and she says the Liberals are flooding the zone to get reports and legislation through without proper scrutiny. The BC Green Party is concerned that valuable farmland being snapped up by U.S. billionaires. That is pushing out family farms in some cases. Agriculture Minister Lana Popham shares their concern.
The concerns I'm hearing are similar to the concerns the member is hearing. We're hearing about corporations investing in agricultural land. This includes concerns about hedge funds, large corporations and non-farm investors purchasing that farmland for activities that do not qualify for farming, and also taking that land out of production for farming. Even to the extent, Mr. Speaker, that there are corporate farms that are planting bait crops for illegal trophy hunting.
The Greens gave an example. They say the heir to the Walmart throne in the U.S. owns 1.2 million acres of farmland in the BC interior. Popham says she's working with the Ministry of Finance on foreign ownership and seeking information from other provinces who are being faced with the same issues right now. And tensions are escalating in the Middle East, with Tehran now threatening to attack an American air base in the region. This after the U.S. announced new airstrikes in Iran.
Growing concern the war in Iran could be ramping up. The U.S., for the second time this week, has launched attacks in southern Iran, targeting what officials say is a military site that was posing a threat to U.S. forces, and shooting down 4 Iranian attack drones near the Strait of Hormuz. Hours later, the military of nearby Kuwait said it was responding to missile and drone attacks. The apparent escalation in the region threatens to undermine peace talks.
And the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. That's your news to 6:36. Your CFAX 1070 News Poll question this morning. We are asking you if the higher cost of living, including the cost at the pumps, is causing you to alter your summer travel plans. 49% saying yes on our website. That number jumps to 71% saying yes on Twitter X. You can vote there or at CFAX1070.com. Also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best. Your news time is 6:37.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning. Welcome to Thursday. It's going to be mostly sunny. Warm again today. Highs of 22 degrees, but maybe a little breezy and cooler if you're by the Wandafuka Strait. We'll get you the full forecast in a moment, but right now, over to the sports, where the Carolina Hurricanes picked up a 4-0 victory in Game 4 to push the Montreal Canadiens to the brink of elimination in the Eastern Conference Final. Lane Hutson praised netminder Jakob Dubas ahead of a blunt assessment after the loss.
Seemed like the only guy that showed up was Doby. We just not good enough. Didn't answer the bell. The good news is we get another chance to try to answer the bell.
He stopped 39 shots, by the way, for Montreal. Montreal falls to 2-6 at home in this spring's Stanley Cup tournament. The Canadiens will try to avoid elimination in tomorrow's Game 5, which switches now back to North Carolina. Victoria Shamrocks in action last night for the second game of their season, and it was a win, 11-4 on the road over the Langley Thunder. And those same two teams go at it again tomorrow. This time they switch to Colwood, where they'll be at the Q Center. For the Canadian men's soccer team, coach Jesse Marsh is expected to narrow down his 32-man camp roster down to his 26-player World Cup roster by tomorrow. The team has been training in Charlotte, North Carolina in a pre-tournament camp. Canada's first Group B match is June 12th in Toronto against Bosnia-Herzegovina. Speaking of World Cup stuff, Michael Bublé says he's proud to stand for Canada with a performance at the World Cup opener June 12th in Toronto ahead of a production meeting planned for today. The Vancouver crooner says he couldn't share any details of the headlining performance.
It's funny. Katy Perry called me the other day, and she asked me the same question. She did. She said, "Do you know what's happening?" And I said, "Not yet. I have a meeting coming up next week." I think it's the same for her. And you can imagine just how proud I am as a Canadian to show up and represent.
Why is he talking about Katy Perry? Well, she'll perform in Inglewood, California, also on June 12th, before the first World Cup game in the United States. Other artists taking the stage with Bublé here in Canada will include Alanis Morissette and Alicia Cara. That's CFAX Sports to 640. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Well, I can tell you it's pretty easy going out there right now. No crashes or accidents. If you see something, text me at 71010. Just to the same old construction projects we've been talking about. Finlayson, Cook, that area, still paving. Quadra, still road work there, which is going to go on into the fall. It started this week, but that's going to just become part of the woodwork soon. We just expect ongoing construction delays on Quadra roundabout Caledonia for the next little bit. For BC Ferries, no sailing waits today. And for the weather forecast, mainly sunny today. Highs up to 22 degrees, a little cooler by the water. There will be a bit of breeze off the Juan de Fuca Strait, a bit more so today. Then a few clouds are actually coming in tonight, and that's going to bring a small chance of showers now for the morning hours tomorrow. Doesn't look like this sticks around, just sort of this brief little moment where maybe a sprinkle. The rest of Friday does clear up a bit, and we head into a mix of sun and cloud for the weekend with temperatures in the low teens. Right now, let's check some of the temperatures around the region. If you are in Colwood this morning, well, good morning to you. It's 12 degrees where you are. In downtown Victoria, it's 13. Opening bells just ringing for North American stock markets. So let's take a look at how yesterday closed as we await today's results. Well, losses in the basic materials sector bringing down Canada's main stock index yesterday. Toronto's S&P TSX gave back 241 points to close at 34,412. In New York, the Dow Jones Industrials gained 182 to end the trading day at 50,644. NASDAQ climbed by 18 points to 26,674. Canadian dollar has been trading this morning at 72.18 cents U.S. compared with 72.30 cents U.S. on Wednesday.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, we are yet again going to be giving away Spam-A-Lot tickets today if you perform a Monty Python sketch for us. Maybe it could sound something like this one.
I have a cup of tea. All right, a cup of cold tea. Huh? Without milk or sugar. Or tea. In a cracked cup and all. Oh, we never used to have a cup. We used to have to drink out of a roll-up newspaper. The best we could manage was to suck on a piece of damp cloth. But you know, we were happy in those days, although we were poor. Because
eventually they're eating gravel. It just goes on and on. It's
how far did they have to walk to school?
You had hot gravel. I had to eat it cold. Just goes on like that. I always enjoyed that one.
There's so many.
So when should we do it today, Lisa? I always pick.
Yes.
When we execute
and I'm fine with
the contest.
There's things I just go along with, and that would be one of them.
You don't want to pick? I was gonna announce right now to everybody when we're going to do it, but I don't know. I haven't decided.
What time were you thinking? Oh.
We could do it in the 7 o'clock hour. We could do it in the 8 o'clock hour. We did it in the 7 yesterday.
Why don't we do it at 8:15? Give people a little bit more time to think about things.
Sold.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Look at me making big decisions.
There you go. If it goes wrong for you, blame Lisa. It's her fault now.
How
Sorry.
did that spin? You just flipped script there.
I'm so sorry. No, just after the 8
It's
o'clock.
like sorry, but not sorry.
Just after the 8 o'clock, after the 8 o'clock news, sports and weather, we will give away another pair of tickets to see Spamalot the musical coming to the Royal Theatre in August. That's when it's coming up today.
We need a laugh.
I'm enjoying kind of like mixing it up, like different parts of the day getting the contest, just so it's kind of all over the place. You never know where it's coming.
Everybody's busy. Sometimes you're not busy now, or you're busy at 8:15, or vice versa. So we try to sprinkle it around.
Yeah.
So that we can, so that everybody's got a chance to win.
Yeah, totally.
We want you to win.
Coming up in a few moments, though, that's coming up in the 8 o'clock hour now, but a cool thing coming to the BC Aviation Museum. They've got a brand new plane that actually, for some reason, has a connection to John Travolta, the actor.
He flew it.
Yeah, I guess he owned it or something, too. Anyways.
He had a runway in his backyard.
He was a big plane guy, or is, I guess.
He still is.
I should say was. He's not. I don't want to start rumors.
Too easily.
Not starting rumors here. John Travolta is still kicking and still is an airplane enthusiast.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, one of the planes he used to own, a jet, a vampire jet, in fact, is coming to the BC Aviation Museum, and we're going to talk to them about that in just a moment. But first, let's get to the news. And here is Lisa.
Prime Minister Mark Carney in the Big Apple trying to take a bite out of American sales. He's taken his economic sales pitch for Canada on the road. He's in New York today to meet with business leaders in an attempt to draw them back to Canada as an investment destination. The PMO has not identified exactly which CEOs, entrepreneurs, and money managers that Carney has FaceTime with today, but the trip comes as Mexican and American officials meet this week for talks on the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. Talks with Canada have yet to start. The agreement is supposed to be in place by January 1st. Canada Day will let you know, because that is expected to possibly be delayed. The province said it has not decided to open an overdose prevention site in downtown Vancouver amid concerns with the city and businesses. Health Minister Josie Osborne says the local health authority will not proceed with the site at 900 Helmkin. Vancouver Coastal Health announcing earlier that it secured a spot with a new permanent location for the overdose prevention site downtown, but the mayor, Ken Sims, says he will use all tools available to block it. Osborne says she and her colleagues have heard concerns and they're committed to taking steps to engage with stakeholders and the community as well to relieve their concerns. A new analysis on several studies found that eating more legumes and soy foods can help bring down your blood pressure. The findings, published in BMJ Nutrition Prevention and Health Journal, shows that if you eat beans, lentils, chickpeas, and tofu, you're less likely to have hypertension. Researchers pooled data from 12 long-term studies to come up with the conclusion. Studies in the past have shown legumes and soy foods are better for your overall health, but have been inconclusive on whether they actually lower your blood pressure. And now the proof is positive. And that's your news to 647.
Right, more of this vampire jet coming up.
It's a cool name.
I know, isn't it? That's next. We'll also do traffic and weather if you see a problem out there, or maybe you don't see a problem. Maybe things are wonderful today. You can let me know that too at 71010. How's the traffic?
How's a Malahat?
Exactly, yeah.
After yesterday.
Right, yeah, what was the update there?
It
that's
was
all clear
a burning
now.
van. Yeah, it's a torch van. I guess it caught fire, but it really snagged traffic for a good hour. Or longer on the hat, yeah.
Yeah, kind of closed it down, right?
Around 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right after the show ended.
Exactly. So not good. We want the hat to stay open, and we want everybody to get through just fine, but that's not always the case. So let us know if you see anything.
Are you car fire free today? Let us know at 71010. It's all next.
The CFAX 1070 Summer of Rock. All right. Win a trip to Vancouver and catch a concert from the Sax Point Pub Summer of Rock lineup. Listen to CFAX from 6 till 6.
When you hear a clip from our Artist of the Week,
text ROCK to 71010 with your first name
to win that concert.
You'll fly with Helijet and stay at the Rosedale on Robson Suite Hotel. Brought to you by the Sax Point Pub in Esquimalt.
Stream us on the iHeartRadio app.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Happy is deals and rewards in one app. Earn Scene Plus points faster by downloading the Thrifty Foods app and linking your Scene Plus card for personalized offers that are just for you. For traffic and weather, things are looking pretty clear out there. I've got no crashes, no accidents to report right now. The commute is looking fairly light from the West Shore, comparatively speaking, but if you see otherwise, let me know. For the BC ferries, no sailing waits. And for the weather, another nice warm, sunny day today, but a little cooler feeling by the Juan de Fuca Strait, where the wind will be blowing again. Highs at 22 degrees otherwise. A few clouds tonight, lows down to 12. And those clouds coming in tonight will bring a small chance of scattered showers for the morning hours. It looks like that clears up later into the day tomorrow, then back to a mix of sun and cloud. With temperatures coming down a little bit tomorrow, highs around 17 degrees, and then a mix of sun and cloud with temperatures in the high teens. That'll take us through the rest of the weekend. And by the way, it's the final weekend of May. Once we hit Monday, it's June.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
I think this is cool. An aircraft known as a Vampire jet is being restored at the BC, or is going to be restored at the BC Aviation Museum, and I want to find out more about this. So I've got Steve Hale, president of the BC Aviation Museum, joining us on the line right now. Hello, sir. How you doing?
Morning, Ryan. Really good, and thanks for calling.
Yeah, I always love talking about the planes you guys get there, and this one's interesting. A DH-100 Vampire jet, once owned by actor John Travolta. There's a lot of history, I think, for different reasons in this particular plane. What can you tell me about it?
Oh, this airplane actually set the world on fire in 1948 when it was first produced. It set all kinds of records. Speed records, 550 miles per hour, altitude records, 59,500 feet. It was the first to land on an aircraft carrier and the first jet to cross the Atlantic Ocean.
It's interesting looking. Maybe you could do a better job of describing it than I could, but I think one thing that's unique is it's kind of got these like two little, I don't know, like pylons that stick out the back and then like a big flat tailpiece, which looks very unique compared to most other planes. But could you describe it better than that?
Well, it's one of the really cool and interesting and unique things about this airplane is the front third of it is actually made out of wood.
Oh.
And then it has this engine in it that's called a Goblin engine, and that thing was really well known for spitting huge amounts of flame.
Oh.
So what they did was they put a twin boom tail on it so that right behind the engine there was nothing that could really burn.
So that's why it looks so weird at the back.
It does, yeah. It's very unique.
Okay, so this is like an early jet plane, basically. And that's one of its like moments in history. Talk about the John Travolta angle. Why? How did that happen?
Well, John Travolta, as you know, is a very, very keen enthusiast when it comes to aviation. You know, a guy who has an airplane parked outside of his house has got to be keen on it. And he actually bought this airplane and in 1989, and he owned it for 3 years. The funky paint job we have on it now, the Battle of Britain paint job, was actually put on the aircraft by him.
Huh.
And we still have his name stenciled under the canopy.
Really? Okay, so what's this plane that you're getting, and again, that used to be owned by John Travolta, what's its status right now? Where is it at?
Okay, we have it at the museum. We actually finished unloading it yesterday morning. It is in pieces. We have the wings separated from the fuselage, and our first task will be to preserve, restore, and get it rebuilt.
How is it that you came about acquiring it?
This is quite by chance. In fact, I just heard a rumor that there was a museum in New Brunswick that was having difficulty and was liquidating their aircraft, and I made a quick phone call to Jamie McDonald out there, and he said, yeah, we saw what you guys did with your F-104 restoration. We'd love for you guys to have it.
Okay, and that's how it came here. You've got it now. You got to put it back together and all that. So it's not on display yet, but it will be eventually, which is really cool. Again, I'm talking about this DH-100 Vampire jet. The name, Lisa, is great.
I love it. And Steve, any chances of getting John here now that the plane is here?
You know what we're working on on every possible angle on that. We'd love to have him come and maybe, well, we'd say break some champagne across the nose, but it is made out of wood. So we'll have to skip that
pause on
part.
that.
And we have, de Havilland aircraft is now at the airport. They used to be called Viking. And, back in 1943, they made sure this thing was the hottest airplane in the world. We'd like to get their involvement as well.
Lots of cool history happening there.
I sense a party.
Yeah. Wait for the big vampire party. It won't be what you think, though.
Well, maybe we'll do this on Halloween.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, good idea.
It just writes itself, doesn't it? It's pretty good. Hey, by the way, Steve, since you're here, we'll wait and see what happens, the news about this plane that you've got there. But there's something else going on I want to make sure we get to. The museum is having a very special speaker night soon, in June, with Royal Canadian Air Force veteran George Miller, who became leader of the Snowbirds back in 1973. Tell me about this one.
Oh, we're very, very pleased to have him as a speaker, particularly what's going on in the news with the Snowbirds.
Yeah.
We're actually being very big with the Snowbirds this year. At our open house on August 3rd, we'll have the last Snowbird jet team at the museum signing autographs while we unveil what was the very, very first Snowbird aircraft. We were able to acquire this a few months ago. We call it Snowbird 1, tail number 175. It's being repainted right now by our good friends at the airport BMP group, and we'll unveil it on August the 3rd with all of the current team in the assembly.
And then what's with the speaker series part of it? Is that going to be something you could go and see a talk as well?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. At our speaker night, we're going to highlight a lot of Snowbird leaders, and this is not something that's new, speaker night, but getting the emphasis on Snowbirds certainly is.
Well, it's certainly a time to think about the Snowbirds as they prepare to have their final season in their current configuration, and you can learn more about it at the BC Aviation Museum. Lots going on. We're talking to their president, Steve Hale. I always love talking planes with you. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure, Ryan and Lisa. Great to talk with you guys.
Well, we'll do it again soon, I'm sure. Yeah, cool. I always, love the cool planes they get. And this one, a neat piece of history, random John Travolta combination as well.
Well, and John always had his finger on the pulse of everything aviation, so he's probably paying attention to where it went.
It would be cool if it drew him in.
And I could see him possibly coming up for an event if they sort of built it around it. I could see him coming, and wouldn't that be something? We could have him here August 3rd when we have the Snowbird here as well.
There you go. He should come.
You're welcome to come, John.
He should pitch his lawn chair on Dallas Road and watch it with the rest of us.
I know he listens to the show, so.
Yeah, exactly. All right, he'll be listening to the 7 o'clock news with Lisa Best coming up next.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hello, good morning. It's 7:01 on Thursday, May 28th. Mostly sunny today, warm again. Bit of wind off the Wandafuk Strait, though. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment, but right now the news begins. And here is Lisa Best.
Time ticking down on Trevor Halford's post as interim leader of the BC Conservatives. The party will pick a new leader this weekend on Saturday. Trevor says he's accomplished what he wanted while he was in the job.
When I took this position, there was a few things I wanted to make sure that I was doing. I wanted to stabilize caucus, but I also wanted to make sure that British Columbians knew, and more importantly, the NDP knew, that this was a government in waiting. And I think we've done that.
The party now has over 40,000 members. The bill is in for the School District 61 trustee fiasco that unfolded earlier this week. Education Minister Lisa Bear says it's going to cost over $400,000 to fix.
The cost will be for just over $419,000. Those costs include the back pay for the trustees, which is just under $360,000, and Dr. Kevin Godden's contract, which is just under $60,000.
That doesn't include the trustees' legal costs or what would have been released by them. Bear says the budget for the board will remain untouched.
None of these costs will be coming out of the classrooms of SD 61. We are assuming those costs, and the budget remains the same for SD 61.
The Ministry of Education failed to provide all the necessary documents related to the case, so this is what happened instead. A new report from the Office of the Provincial Health Officer on alcohol consumption is out, and we win. Sorta. Dr. Bonnie Henry says they've determined that Island Health has one of the highest levels of drinking per person.
Drinking less alcohol is better for our overall health, and that's the central message of this report. The purpose of this new report is to provide updated information and data on alcohol use and its related health, social, and public safety harms. It also describes how alcohol is currently regulated in BC, and we offer recommendations that can improve the health and well-being for everybody in the province.
What's actually recommended is 1 to 2 drinks per week to avoid related health risks. Many seniors, especially male seniors, tend to consume the most drinks at 15 drinks per week. This is a new study out of the UK, shows 80% of health in old age is apparently under the individual's control. What's called the Oxford Longevity Project also recommends avoiding processed foods, no alcohol, getting a good night's sleep, increases the risk of a good health in old age. However, the report is getting criticism from some, including a professor at the Virginia Commonwealth University Center on Society and Health. He tells The Guardian that the study ignores or oversimplifies the multi-layer root cause of conditions that foster poor health in a population. And the U.S. military has conducted another strike against Iran. AP correspondent Ben Thomas has details.
U.S. officials tell AP U.S. forces carried out new strikes Wednesday on a military facility in Iran, what they describe as defensive action. They say it came after the downing of 4 Iranian attack drones that were posing a threat around the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. forces also struck an Iranian ground control station in Bandar Abbas that was about to launch a 5th drone. It all comes after President Trump expressed confidence the U.S. was making progress in talks to end the war.
It looks like they want to just make a deal. I don't think they have a choice.
Ben Thomas, Washington.
We'll keep you posted. And those spinning Battletop toys that whirled through playgrounds around the world in the early 2000s are resurging here in Canada, especially on Vancouver Island. Colton Derrick says he launched a Vancouver Island Beyblade League 2 years ago. It now has 120 members. He says part of the appeal is nostalgia.
I really was into Beyblade back in like the OG Beyblade days. I think it came out in like 2001. I was really wrapped up with anime. I was walking through Walmart with my son, and my son's like 4. And I had this like crazy core memory when I saw a Beyblade up on the wall, and I was like, whoa, Beyblade is back? Like, this is insane.
Hasbro licenses the toys in North America. A company spokesperson says, yes, they are experiencing a resurgence driven largely by nostalgia and innovation. That's your news to 7:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning, we're asking if the higher cost of living, including what you're paying at the pumps, is causing you to alter your summer travel plans. 49% saying yes on our website, but that jumps to 71% saying absolutely on Twitter X. You can vote CFAX1070.com, Twitter X, or the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 7:07.
Thanks, Lisa, and good morning. Welcome to Thursday. Warm and sunny. Right now, it's already 14 degrees out there, so we're kind of starting the day off pretty warm. That's kind of the picture you're into today. We'll tell you the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, over to the sports and the Victoria Shamrocks. Yeah, you got to remember that lacrosse season's here in Victoria again because they've got their second game of the season in. They were on the road versus the Langley Thunder last night, and Victoria emerged victorious with an 11-4 road win. And those same two teams will play again tomorrow. This time they switch to the Q Centre in Colwood. For hockey, Montreal Canadiens in tough now. Carolina Hurricanes picking up the win last night. 4-0 in Game 4 to push the Montreal Canadiens to the brink of elimination in the Eastern Conference Final. Head coach Martin St. Louis says despite 3 straight losses against a determined opponent, his team does have what it takes to push back.
You got to be mentally strong, and you got to believe. You got to believe that you actually can do it. I don't doubt that. I believe that we can do it, but we got to go, and it wasn't our best tonight, but we'll put our best foot forward for Game 5, and we'll be ready to go.
Montreal will look to avoid elimination tomorrow and force a Game 6 back at the Bell Centre on Sunday. Yeah, because tomorrow's back to Carolina. Let's talk about baseball. Seattle Mariners with a 9-1 drubbing of the Athletics yesterday. Toronto Blue Jays also in action yesterday, defeating Miami 2-1. And the Canadian men's soccer team coach expected to narrow down his 32-man camp roster to a 26-player World Cup roster by tomorrow. The team has been training in Charlotte, North Carolina in a pre-tournament camp with Canada's first Group B match June 12th in Toronto against Bosnia-Herzegovina. That's your sports to 7:09. CFAX traffic and weather. It's 7:10 on a Thursday morning, and things are looking pretty typical on the road so far. No crashes, no accidents. Volume delays starting to build up from the West Shore into Victoria, but nothing unusual other than just volume so far this morning. Paving work back on Cook Street, other side of Finlayson. That's just been the ongoing thing. It's going to be continuing all this week, and it's still on today. And for the BC Ferries, no sailing waits. There is an 8 o'clock sailing from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen coming up. In the weather forecast, a new blip in the forecast because originally it was just sort of dry and sunny with some clouds for the next few days. Now it does look like tomorrow morning, this is brief period where maybe we get some sprinkles because some clouds are rolling in tonight. Maybe that makes sense because there's that mugginess kind of that's been in the air yesterday, and maybe that's kind of there again today. We're seeing a mainly sunny day. It's already quite warm. 14 degrees right now is the official temperature, heading towards that high of 22. We will see a bit of wind off the Wantafuca Strait, so per usual, cooler by the water, but that's the story today. And then those clouds roll in tonight. Small chance of showers tomorrow morning. Lows going down to an overnight low of about 12 degrees. Then once we get through that morning, chance of showers, we clear up again, back to a mix of sun and cloud. Highs of about 17, a little cooler tomorrow. And then Saturday and Sunday look like that. Mix of sun and cloud, temperatures in the high teens. So that's the next few days for you as we get through it. But yeah, today, another sunny, warm one. And like I said, already getting warm right now. On the markets, here's how the first look at the results is shaping up. S&P TSX in Toronto down 157 to 34,254. The Dow in New York is down 101 to 50,543. The Nasdaq is down 38 to 26,636. Canadian dollar at 72.2 cents US, down a little bit from yesterday's close. And the barrel of oil, $90.86 US a barrel, which is up $2 over yesterday.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Well, I do have to say, the warm weather that's been with us has been absolutely lovely. Did you feel that yesterday was just sort of this difference? Like, I just felt like I want to go be on a patio. Like, I just wanted to be outside.
It was patio weather.
It was definitely patio weather.
A lot of people indulged in the patio.
Yeah.
But it was very calm, I thought, and it was very much a summer day.
Yeah.
Already.
Do you know who's got a patio?
Who's got a patio?
The Sax Point Pub in Esquimalt.
They have a nice one, too.
And they are powering the CFAX Summer of Rock, which is on right now. So you've got to hear Motley Crue songs this week.
That's right. I was waiting for the Motley Crue.
Well,
there's a pregnant pause there. We're also...
was it going to happen?
Right.
Was it time to text the word rock? Well, not yet.
Not yet.
But when you hear this week a Motley Crue song, that is your cue to text the word rock, R-O-C-K, to 71010 and be entered into the draw to the CFAX Summer of Rock, powered by the Sax Point Pub in Esquimalt, where we have accommodation from the Rosedale and Robson Street Hotel,
right,
transportation from Helijet, and 2 tickets to see, in this case, Motley Crue coming up in July in Vancouver. That's this week's artist.
Okay.
And we still got more artists to come because AC/DC is on the way, Guns N' Roses, they're all coming to Vancouver, and we're sending people to all of these shows. But right now, Motley Crue is it. And
it's July 12th. Write it down.
That's the date. And I was on, full disclosure, I was on the patio at the Sax Point Pub in Esquimalt yesterday.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Was it busy?
I think it's because I've been talking about it so much. I'm like, maybe I'm going to go.
You decided to go, eh?
It was lovely. Yeah, it was.
Your own advertising worked.
It worked on me. I convinced myself to go. It was nice. The great patio and just a beautiful day yesterday. I think that was the thing.
It was.
You get those days sometimes where you just decide, I'm just going to be outside and exist in this weather.
Well,
doesn't matter what I'm doing.
It's easy weather to exist in, and today looks like a cookie cutter from yesterday.
Very similar.
And looking ahead, we've got a smattering of rain possibly tomorrow morning.
That's what the forecast is suggesting,
right.
So maybe.
After that, maybe next Friday.
Yeah, but otherwise it's looking like it's going to carry on. But today might be another one of those nice warm ones before it cools off a little bit.
Okay, so we may have cooler weather, but it looks like not rain for January, which historically we get.
Yeah, it could still come.
Okay.
I'm not counting out January just yet.
Okay, good.
You never know.
We need it. We could use a bit of moisture. The plants need it more than we do, of course.
This weekend's looking pretty good for events like the big Chinatown thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Awakening Chinatown is on this weekend. What's that all about? We're going to be talking to somebody with the organizing committee in just a moment. Right now, though, to the headlines, and here's Lisa.
The offshoot of a major Canadian bank is being sold. CIBC says it has a deal in place that would see 91.67% of its interest in CIBC Caribbean go to the Bank of N.T. Butterfield & Son for a total of $1.6 billion U.S. That sum takes the form of cash and stocks. The sale comes after CIBC reported earnings of $2.47 billion Canadian, up from $2.01 billion a year before. The Royal Bank of Canada raising its quarterly dividend. It reported a second quarter profit rose 25% compared with a year earlier. The bank says it will now pay a quarterly dividend of $1.76 to shareholders, as RBC says it earned $5.51 billion for the quarter that ended on April 30th. Yes, that's your fees, folks. Revenue totaled $17.45 billion for the quarter, up from $15.67 billion for the same quarter last year. And the U.S. military is confirming that a Kuwait intercepted missiles launched by Iran late last night, and the latest escalation, what the Americans are calling an egregious ceasefire violation. Iran earlier announced the strikes, saying they were a retaliation to U.S. strikes on Iranian missile launch sites, mine-laying boats, and attack drones during the ceasefire. As for the peace talks, the U.S. president has expressed confidence that his administration is making headway, but negotiations seem to remain in flux. And that is your news to 716.
All right, we're talking about Awakening Chinatown, which is on this weekend. We'll do that right after traffic and weather. If you see a problem out there, or even if you don't, how is the commute this morning? Let me know at 71010. Let's take a look at the road. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Usual volume delays from the West Shore into Victoria. No crashes, no accidents. We got paving work back on Cook Street out the side of Finlayson, and that water main work on Quadra, which started this week near Caledonia. They're going to be kind of moving along Quadra as this goes, and it'll be months. My understanding is it'll be fall by the time they're finished that, but that sort of started up this week, so watch out for possible delays there. For the long term, for the weather forecast, as we were mentioning, nice warm today, mainly sunny, highs up to 22 degrees, but cooler by the water already, 14 degrees downtown. At the airport is the 14 degrees we're seeing. Downtown Victoria, we are looking at about the same, 14 degrees. Small chance of showers showing up tomorrow, but then it goes away, and we will be sunny again with a few clouds for the rest of Friday and the weekend.
Let's get started. Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Canada's oldest Chinatown set to awaken this weekend with the return of a festival featuring performances and cultural programs and food and all this kind of stuff. It's called Awakening Chinatown. The organizing committee chair, Robert Fung, is on the line to talk about what's going on here. Robert, hello. How are you?
I'm great, thanks, Ryan. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing great. I love any excuse to go down to Chinatown. It's such a cool part of the city, and what a neat excuse to do that this weekend. So what is Awakening Chinatown?
You know what? It is a great family festival, and it takes place in Chinatown, and it's really established to celebrate this amazing Chinatown, to get people into it. It celebrates Chinese culture, and it features a lot of people from within our community. We've got performers running for the day. So first of all, it's in the 500 block of Chinatown where the Chinatown Gate is, and the street will be closed off. It runs from 11 a.m. to 4:30. We have performances all through the day, and we've got fantastic performers this year. You know, people are used to seeing the lion dancing, and so we have that, as well as martial arts with Wang Sheng Kung Fu Club. We've got Victoria Chinese Opera Club, which is lots of drama and spectacle with that. Amazing rhythms with Happy Drum Group. And those are all from within our community. Those are community Chinese performing groups. Also from out of town, Michelle Kwan is coming. She plays a traditional Chinese guzheng, but she plays Guns N' Roses on it and Bon Jovi. She's amazing.
Cool.
We have Pacific Opera Victoria baritone Alex Chen. We've got the Chinese Evergreen Seniors Choir also coming out of town. From out of town, we've got the BC Chinese Music Association's Traditional Chinese Instrument Chamber Orchestra. And for pop fans, we've got acclaimed Canadian canto pop artist Elvin Chang. So tell your kids. There's a scavenger hunt. So, as you mentioned, Victoria's Chinatown is the oldest in Canada. It is the second established in North America, next to San Francisco. However, San Francisco had an earthquake and burned down in 1907. And so we actually have the oldest, the first established and the longest standing, oldest original Chinatown in North America. It's really special. And RBC, our presenting sponsor this year, is leading a scavenger hunt through the area that helps people learn a little bit more about these really amazing places, amazing stories of Chinatown and the buildings, and give people a glimpse into what's here. And I also want to mention RBC because they're a presenting sponsor and they've committed to 3 more years. Importantly, this is our 5th anniversary. So it's the 5th year for Awakening Chinatown. And we have a number of sponsors that have been with us that whole time. RBC and Townline as well have really committed from the very beginning. A couple new things we have this year. On the street, you'll be able to try Mahjong. You'll be able to try Tai Chi. We have street food as well. And a lot of the local restaurants are open. And if you haven't been down and being able to try some of the Chinese Chinatown food, you should do it. Dumpling Drop and Cow Gang are on the street this year. So we're really expecting a special 5th anniversary Awakening Chinatown.
5th anniversary of this thing. How did it start 5 years ago? Like, what was the origin of Awakening Chinatown?
There were really kind of 3 big things that I'm on the board of the Victoria Chinatown Museum Society, and we were looking in Chinatown and realizing, we'd come out of COVID. Businesses downtown in general were struggling to sort of reignite. Chinatown was in the same situation. Plus, we also have an area where it's gone through a long period of revitalization and change. And with the Museum Society, one of the reasons that we were created was to tell the stories of Chinatown and to educate people on Chinese culture and why this is such a special place, not just to the Chinese community, but really to Victoria, to British Columbia, and to our story as Canadians as a whole. So that's what it came out of. It was time to wake up Chinatown again from the COVID slumber, bring people to the area, remind Victorians most particularly about why this is such a great place and why it's so important to all of us, and to celebrate and support a lot of the Chinese community groups that are practicing dance and traditional theater, and they don't have a platform, as well as to support the businesses in the area. So, with those kind of 3 mandates, it really grew, and it's taken off. Every year it's bigger. There's more and more support, and it's become a landmark festival for the spring in Victoria.
Yeah, really cool. And it's this Saturday. Again, they closed the street down. Sunday, sorry.
the 31st.
I'm glad you caught me on that. Sunday, of course, May 31st is Sunday. I don't want to mislead anybody. So Sunday, 11 to 4:30 is where they close the street. So it's all this festival stuff happening there on the main block of Chinatown. Really cool it's happening, and a neat excuse to go down and check out this neat place if you haven't been in a while. Now, I got a question for you. So you talked about the history, right? Of course, Chinatown, like you said, is the oldest in Canada. It's the oldest kind of original one that didn't burn down compared to the older one in San Francisco. So there's a lot of history. What about right now? What role does Chinatown play for the Chinese community now compared to, when it first started, which would have been a very different, reason why these things emerged in places like Victoria and beyond. Where is it now as far as, meaning?
I think personally, I feel it has an increasing meaning in our country, and it has a lot to do with our identity in Canada. Most of us in Canada are immigrants in some way, and a lot of the Chinese community came through Victoria's Chinatown. And when I say that, I don't just mean Victorians, the Chinese community in Canada, came through Victoria's Chinatown. And so it was a really important gateway into the country. And a lot of the people that came through here are really key in our society, in our economy today across the country. And, it's important not to forget that. So one of the mandates of the Chinatown Museum Society, one of the goals is to honor that effort, the work that really helped build our country and knit the Chinese community into it. It's part of our core identity, and this place has a lot of very special key things of that longstanding story. And a couple, you mentioned what's cool about Chinatown. I find that almost every day there's something new to learn about it. This Chinatown has the oldest Chinese temple in Canada, with the Tam Kung Temple, and they're celebrating their 150th anniversary this year. We also have the longest continually operating Chinese business in North America. I think that's Loy Sing Barbecue, and they opened and got their business license in like 1889. They still have that business license.
Wow.
And there's some really fantastic things in this area to explore. And every time we're with a group talking about some of the stories, there's always someone in their family or a good friend connects back to the origins of our country, really connect back to that time. So, I find it's kind of key to our overall identity. There's some really fascinating stories, and it has all the ups and downs of a place with a long history. And I find that it's important, and almost every Victorian I speak to really loves Victoria's Chinatown for what it means. And oftentimes they're not aware of some of these really special things, and why I think it's helpful to remember that, to honor the people that came through here, but also how our country's evolving and the place that it has in that. So today in Chinatown, there's great Chinese shops. There's the original buildings created by our first Chinese immigrants, and amazing restaurants. But we also have a great French restaurant that honors Chinatown with Ugly Duckling. We've got one of the best Mexican restaurants in town, Nays. We still have the classics like Don Mi for dim sum. Everybody knows that one. We also have Iba Schnitzel House. So across the board, Chinatown is a vibrant, diverse place, but it's really rooted in the original Chinese culture. But it's definitely leading in terms of how we evolve overall in Canada.
And it's something to celebrate this Sunday with the Awakening Chinatown event. Robert Fung with the organizing committee, thank you for telling us about it, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.
7:30 News next on CFAX 1070.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Join Capital Bike for Spring Go By Bike Week, May 30th to June 5th. Register and find celebration stations at gobybikebc.ca. Sign up for the Walk for Alzheimer's Sunday, May 31st at Fisherman's Wharf. More info at walkforalzheimers.ca. Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:32 on Thursday, May 28th. A little late for the news. Let's get right to it. Here is Lisa Best.
BC's love of alcohol is subject to a new report from the Office of the Provincial Health Officer. The report said that as of 2023, people here averaged 8.8 drinks per week, compared to the national average of 8.2. It finds that drinking less, 1 or 2 drinks per week, is much better for your long-term health. Bonnie Henry has some recommendations for government to consider.
What we would like to see is specific labels on bottles, but also on where you purchase alcohol. So shelf talkers, as they call them, and labels in places like bars. We do have a program already where certain labels have to be in bars and restaurants where alcohol can be consumed, but they need to be updated more frequently, and we need to look at the language in those. And I think there's some willingness on the part of industries to be involved in that as well.
Island Health apparently number one for the amount of drinks that we imbibe on a weekly basis, around 11. Among the recommendations of making people more aware of the health risks of alcohol is to implement changes at the point of sale, such as requiring warning labels on packaging. A 41-year-old man being banned from driving for a day, his wheels curbed for a week following a suspected DUI collision in Colwood happened Tuesday in the Royal Bay Drive and Promenade Crescent area. A 27 Ford Focus crashed into the fence, then a fire hydrant. Police found the car and driver nearby on Bunker Road. Police say the driver was showing signs of impairment. Man was also fined for failing to remain at the scene of a collision. A 24-year-old Esquimalt man is facing charges and fines following a motorcycle chase last week in central Saanich. Last Thursday, police received a report of a suspicious bike traveling northbound on the Pat Bay Highway. The caller had the license plate of the 1980s Honda Goldwing, and police determined the vehicle was not insured. When the officer attempted to stop the bike, the rider, with a passenger on board, sped away. Police decided not to give chase due to safety, but the bike was tracked down in the 6800 block of East Saanich Road shortly after. The rider again attempting to evade police, but becoming stuck between concrete barriers separating the Keating Cross Road on-ramp with the highway. Police say charges have been recommended and several tickets have been issued to the driver. The tab for the recently botched judicial review over the trustees fired from the Victoria District School Board is in. That tab, just under $420,000. Education Minister Lisa Bear says the number includes the trustees' salaries, but not legal fee reimbursement. And she says the school safety plans for District 61, which led to the firing, remain in place.
What we do have in place now, though, is a robust safety plan that was co-created by community with parents, with students, with First Nations, with stakeholders that address the concerns that we had in the ministry. That remains in place. And so, all of that work that was done is there. All of the work that was done over this past year remains. The official budget, all the work that was done by the official trustee and just regular governance, that all remains.
Lisa Bear says the price tag will be covered by the province. It will not come out of the school district's budget. BCers should have a better idea what hosting the World Cup in Vancouver is going to cost. That number coming in tomorrow. The expected date of the report comes a day after the BC legislature breaks for session on Thursday, today. Tourism Minister Ann Kang was asked by reporters why the numbers can't come out today.
Well, this is a very large-size event with lots of different complications and ever-evolving information that are coming in. We have seen that we know the 5 games that are coming. We have updated on what kind of security and safety measures that we need, and we will continue to work on this. But the numbers continue to evolve, and we want to provide the most accurate and clear updates as we can. And so Friday is the projected time that we will be providing that.
There will be 7 games played in Vancouver starting June 13th. The games will involve at least 2 of the Canadian teams. 2 of the games will have Canada involved. Steve Young, our sports guru here on CFAX, will be live in a few moments at 7:50 to share his experience on snagging FIFA tickets. That's your news to 7:36. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, with the price of things, the higher cost of living, and the sticker price we still have at the fuel pumps, are you changing your summer travel plans as a result? Currently, 71% are saying yes. On Twitter X, 48% saying yes. On our website, CFAX1070.com. You can also vote on the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 7:38.
Thank you, Lisa. Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For big savings no matter the season, talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. Warming up out there already. We've got about 14 degrees in Victoria, heading towards a high of 22 with some sun and cloud. Full forecast to come. Right now, over to the sports. And yeah, we're going to be talking to sports guy Steve in a few moments about the FIFA World Cup. Trying to buy tickets, is that something you've been thinking about for Vancouver? What are the costs? How does it work? That's all coming up. We're going to get into it. We're also talking about the World Cup opener that's going to be taking place June 12th in Toronto. I guess each country, Canada, U.S., and Mexico, will do a big, musical celebration to kick things off. Michael Bublé says he's proud to stand for Canada with a performance at the opener in Toronto for Canada. Ahead of a production meeting planned for today, the Vancouver crooner said he couldn't share any details of the headlining performance.
It's funny. Katy Perry called me the other day, and she asked me the same question. She did. She said, "Do you know what's happening?" And I said, "Not yet. I have a meeting coming up next week." I think it's the same for her. You can imagine just how proud I am as a Canadian to show up and represent.
Why is Katy Perry involved in all this? Well, she's performing in Inglewood, California on June 12th for the American World Cup opener. Other artists taking place in Canada, along with Bublé, include Alanis Morissette and Alicia Cara. For what's happening in the world of NHL playoffs, the Montreal Canadiens are now in a bit of a hole. The Carolina Hurricanes picked up a 4-0 victory in Game 4 to push the Canadiens to the brink of elimination in the Eastern Conference Final. Fans at the Bell Center implored their team with chants of shoot the puck in the third period. Canadiens head coach Martin St. Louis says his team got what it deserved.
The game's going to humble you. Whenever you get humble, you just stand tall. It's not fun to hear that, but they're not wrong.
Game 5 goes tomorrow in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Victoria's Shamrocks in action last night. Second game of their young season. It was a win, 11-4 on the road against the Langley Thunder. Those same two teams will play again tomorrow at the Q Center in Colwood. And that's your sports to 740.
Set the table for the weekend with BC Food and Wine Radio, pointing you to great wine buys, outstanding restaurants, insider stories, and all things connected to our amazing food and wine scene. Listen every week as Anthony Gismondi sits down with top winemakers, star chefs, proprietors, and more from all over BC and around the world. Don't miss BC Food and Wine Radio with Anthony Gismondi, Saturday afternoon at 1, right here on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather, all brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. We are looking at no major issues on the roads. You can text me at 71010 if you see a crash or accident. Typical volume delays out of the West Shore into downtown Victoria, and paving work on Cook, either side of Finlayson again. For the BC Ferries, the 8 o'clock sailing is coming up with lots of room left. And in the weather forecast, another warm day, highs up to 22, already at about 14 around the region. Clouds over tonight, though, and we will get into a small chance of showers tomorrow morning. That just sort of emerged into our forecast. That wasn't there yesterday morning, but it doesn't last. It clears up again. We get a mix of sun and cloud for the rest of Friday and the rest of the weekend. Temperatures will probably be a little cooler, though, come tomorrow. After we get another sort of warm, summery kind of day today, the temperatures drop a few degrees, still high teens for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just not quite as warm. And as we look far ahead into next week's forecast, still a mix of sun and cloud, and we might actually start to warm up as we get into next week. By Tuesday, A high of 24 degrees could be where we're at. On the markets in Toronto, S&P TSX up 15 to 34,396. The Dow in New York is up 24 to 50,669. NASDAQ up 68 to 26,743. Canadian dollar at 72.3 cents US, which is up a fraction from yesterday's close.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, if you are wondering, it's going to be just after the 8 o'clock news, sports, weather, traffic, and all that we do our next giveaway for the tickets to see Spam-A-Lot at the Royal Theatre.
Excellent.
You got to perform a little Monty Python sketch for us, and that'll be coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, so stand by for that. In the meantime, I'm thinking FIFA World Cup tickets in Vancouver.
Okay.
And sports guy Steve is going to join us in a few moments to talk about it because he's been on his own personal journey, and I'd love to hear how it's going. How much does this thing cost? Because I'll tell you, Lisa, I've been thinking about it a bit just because.
About going?
Well, because, how often does the World Cup of Soccer come to your home province?
Where?
I've got kids. Maybe this would be a fun experience to bring them to some big world event while it's here.
Yeah.
So I think this sometimes.
Okay.
But then I do something like I just did now. And I go and I Google search World Cup Vancouver tickets.
Okay.
And one of the first things is, of course, the official FIFA website, right?
Well, you're sitting down, so that's good.
Yeah. So I go to the FIFA website and I just plug it in. It tells you, it makes you do a bunch of things like, where are you, what country
You wanna know your
in,
deets,
what city are you looking for? So I'm pushing all those buttons. I've clicked
your
on
zodiac
Vancouver
sign?
matches. Okay, so June 13th, Australia versus Turkey.
Not even Canada involved there.
Yeah, in Vancouver. But, those are the two teams.
Understood.
June 13th, first day. Tickets starting at $2,958.
Okay, so you're
starting at.
Like I said, Ryan's sitting down.
Canada versus Qatar. $3,575 starting price.
Can you have a child in your lap so that it's kind of a twofer?
It's like for what? Like, yeah, if I wanted to take my wife and the two kids, 4 tickets. I mean, that's.
They're selling the passion of the beautiful game. Now, Taylor Swift tickets were $3,000 a pop when they came to Vancouver. If you wanted to actually see her on stage moving around, it's our emotions are involved in this, and depending on where you want to sit. Because I was having the same discussion with Steve yesterday, and he was quoting me some prices that, had my jaw drop.
Yeah.
If you want to sit up front and get personal with the players and be able to see the whites of their eyes, you're going to be paying a lot.
Yeah.
Like mortgage amount.
Now, I'm looking at the official FIFA website here, but there's other options, of course. There's a thing called StubHub.
Okay.
If you use StubHub, it's sort of like where I think you can resell tickets. So you can get tickets for a lot cheaper, is my understanding. Still expensive.
But how do you know you're not getting scammed?
Well, exactly. This is why I need Sports Guy Steve, who is the guy who knows what's going on and is going through the process right now, I understand. So he's going to tell us about how it all goes and what to watch out for there. Because if you are thinking about it,
I always think about it.
What would you pay, and how much is it, and what is the process like? We're going to go through all that coming up next. That's what's coming up. This texter says, since you're sitting down, I believe we find out some taxpayer costs tomorrow.
Oh yeah, there's that
for the FIFA World Cup. That's true. Yeah, so stay sitting, I guess. Just don't get up today.
It's so interesting that they're releasing the numbers on Friday when the legislature breaks.
Yeah,
today.
That makes sense.
So who's available to talk about it? Oh, sorry, I'm back in my...
Sorry, I'm heading off to the constituency. I'll see you later.
It's another large number that we get to trigger over.
Yeah.
And have some sticker shock. They say there'll be lots of economic spinoff. I sure hope so. When the dust settles, and it's going to be after the dust settles, because hosting the games, I think, is fantastic. But we always now have to weigh it with the cost to us. And even the cost of a ticket for an average person from BC to go to the game.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about with Sports Guy Steve coming up. So that's in just a moment. Right now, let's get to the headlines. Here's Lisa.
Well, we paid for these, so we might as well name them, right? BC Ferries announcing the name of the new major vessels, introducing the Summit class with individual names named after trees found in BC. Pretty cool. The first 4 vessels will be named Summit Arbutus, Summit Cedar, Summit Maple, and of course, Summit Spruce. The new major vessels project is a key part of the BC Ferries long-term fleet renewal program. All 4 vessels anticipated to be in service in our waters by 2031. Speaking of waters, a Washington State man still in hot water after he was accused of throwing a coconut-sized rock at a monk seal in Hawaii. He will now remain free until his trial, but he's not allowed to visit beaches or approach wildlife while in that state. Igor Levinchuk has pleaded not guilty to misdemeanor charges of harassing or attempting to harass a protected animal. His attorney had said he was trying to protect sea turtles in the area. Authorities say that video went viral. You probably saw it, of that 38-year-old man tossing a rock at a seal, startling at the stone, narrowly missing the animal's head. And speaking of heads on money, the U.S. Treasury Department is reportedly pushing a plan for a bill with Donald Trump's face on it, a $250 bill. Although law currently requires a person to die before they can be on currency, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing has reportedly been asked to come up with prototype bills as part of the nation's 250th birthday. That's your news to 7:48.
Up next, it's sports guy Steve and the quest to acquire World Cup tickets.
The CFAX 1070 Summer of Rock. All right. Win a trip to Vancouver and catch a concert from the Sax Point Pub Summer of Rock lineup. Listen to CFAX from 6 till 6.
When you hear a clip from our Artist of the Week,
text ROCK to 71010 with your first name
to win that concert.
You'll fly with Helijet and stay at the Rosedale on Robson Suite Hotel. Brought to you by the Sax Point Pub in Esquimalt.
Stream us on the iHeartRadio app.
CFAX 1070, traffic and weather. The commute is looking pretty easy today when it comes to things like crashes or accidents. I got none of those reported. It's about a 45-minute drive from places like, say, the Royal Bays neighborhood of Colwood into downtown Victoria. 45 minutes. I'd say that's a fairly typical commute so far this morning. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010. That's just one example, just picking on the Royal Bay neighborhood today. For the weather forecast, warm again. It's got that sort of beautiful summer-like feel with a high of 22 degrees, already 14 out there. A few clouds with us, a little wind off the water, so feeling a little cooler by the water, per usual. But the clouds come in tonight, and we've got now a small chance of showers tomorrow morning. Doesn't last long. We get into a mix of sun and cloud for the rest of Friday and for the rest of the weekend, but that little blip coming at us tomorrow, with temperatures cooling down a little bit into the weekend as well.
The lineup in his first offering. Touch them all, Joe. The golden goal.
It's Sports Guy Steve.
Oh, my goodness.
What did you say? You heard me.
Here's Sports Guy Steve. Just a bit outside.
And he's on the quest for FIFA World Cup tickets in Vancouver. He's joining us on the line. Steve, how you doing?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Now, this morning.
Now, you, I understand you, like many British Columbians, have been thinking about going to see a World Cup game when Vancouver hosts some of these matches along with cities all across North America. But, of course, the cost of the things have been making headlines. And, Steve, just before we got you on here, I went to the official FIFA World Cup website.
Okay.
Right. And I looked at the price, and I saw the first match is June 13th, Australia versus Turkey. And the starting prices are basically $3,000 per ticket at the starting end. So, and I know that's not the only way to do this, but I mean, those are some of the numbers people are seeing, and people are wondering, like, how can we even think about going to these games as regular British Columbians, given the cost? But you have been looking to go. In fact, maybe you've even got tickets. I think you were planning on it, right?
I did purchase a ticket. I will go see Team Canada in action against Qatar in mid-June.
Wow, okay. You've got Canada tickets. Now, so did you take out a second mortgage? Did you have to sell your car? Like, what did you do to do this?
Okay, so you know me when it comes to sports, Ryan. I do my research.
Yeah, okay. That's why we love you.
Thank you very much. I love you too.
Steve?
So, yes?
I got to ask you, was it a bit like this?
That is your purpose, Arthur. The quest for the Holy Grail.
A little bit.
Seriously?
A little bit. So I've been monitoring for a couple of weeks now because I made the decision, you know, there's a sports bucket list with things on it. And I basically decided, you know what, you're never going to have a chance to see another World Cup because age factors in here. Canada's probably not going to host it again in my lifetime. I'm, you know, an hour and a half away from Vancouver by a nice boat ride. I got to just do it. I need to suck it up and realize that I'm paying too much and just go for the experience part of it. And it is, you know, it is going to take a slash out of my budget for the month, but I waited until my credit card statement flipped over to the next month, so I wasn't paying for it right away, and I did all the strategic things.
Yeah.
So I've been monitoring, and as you pointed out, Ryan, there are different ways to get it.
Yeah, you don't have to go to the main FIFA website and pay the full price. There's other things going on. I just don't understand them. So which ones are available?
Okay, so the FIFA one that you looked at is the actual face value ticket. Okay, so that is when you go to a FIFA website. First of all, you have to give away so much information to FIFA. I was disgusted that I was doing it. Like, you know, and you had to have codes and it just had like you know, phone numbers. It just went beyond normal. You know, go to Ticketmaster and buy. It was different than that. And you had to, you know, go through a process, and they had to verify you, and they did a lot of things. So it was a little more in-depth than usual once you decided you were going to try to buy a ticket. So it brings you to a page, and there's that the one you're talking about, Ryan, where the ticket price is the ticket price. But there's a second option there called FIFA Marketplace. And that's where people who have tickets are actually using FIFA like they would use Ticketmaster to resell the tickets.
Gotcha.
So
and is that where the deals are?
Well, it turned out, yes. Because I usually, when I get a cheap ticket, I usually use StubHub.
Okay, because that's another service where people can resell their tickets, right? That's what StubHub is?
Yes, it is. And, you know, like, I went to the Daytona 500 all 4 days, including the Daytona 500 for under $100 using StubHub.
Okay.
So you can be very strategic about StubHub. So I was watching their prices for the last 2 weeks. I was watching this marketplace's prices, and on day one, I ditched the one that you went to. It was like, not a chance. It was $1,000 minimum for any of the games. I'm not there. So I watched, and I started to see the prices going up the last few days. In other words, your base price for your base ticket, even on StubHub, had gone from about $650 to over $700 And I was looking at both Canadian games because I wanted to go to the cheapest, and it became clear that Qatar was cheaper than Switzerland. So those are the two games in Vancouver featuring Canada. So I narrowed it down to that, and StubHub was now over $700 for a ticket in the top row. Kind of thing.
Yeah. Not even a good seat. It's the cheapest one you can get. So the FIFA Marketplace ones were still a bit more reasonable, might be not the right word, but you know what I mean.
Yes, exactly. So, and I just basically got to a point where I thought the prices were about to shift even more, and I needed to lock in because I was going to end up paying $200 or $300 more if I didn't.
Can I ask, in the end, after all of this, how much did you pay? Can I ask?
You can. $598. I'm in the fifth row of the upper deck.
Okay,
that's not bad.
That's not.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but if you're looking at $3,000 versus $500, I think you got a steal of a deal there, Steve. So is this still available? And would you recommend this as a method for people who might be thinking, I'd love to go, but I can't spend $3,000 per ticket? What other options are available to me? Do you think the FIFA Marketplace or the StubHubs are worthwhile and trustworthy places to try?
Yeah, so StubHub has some guarantees that are safety. I certainly wouldn't go through Facebook to buy a ticket.
Okay, so no Facebook Marketplace kind of stuff.
Can't trust it.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. It's just like Taylor Swift tickets. You're going to end up disappointed.
Yeah.
It's just,
Steve, is there any chance that as we get closer to the games, call me crazy, that the seats don't sell, that they would get cheaper?
There is a chance of that. That is one of the risks you can take and wait till the day of and see what happens. I just think that it might not work the same as usual. I think what's going to happen on June 11th is because we're seeing the games on the TV and people are seeing the excitement in the crowd and all that stuff visually, they're going to start wanting tickets more. So the price is going to go up, I think, on June 11th. Yeah, exactly. And people start saying, I know this makes no sense, but I'm going to do it anyway because I want the experience.
As the kids say, YOLO.
Yeah.
Exactly.
that starts to kick in. Yeah. Yeah. Well, sports guy Steve, there you go. His quest to go to the World Cup has arrived at a ticket, which did not cost him $3,000, and that's how he did it. Hopefully that helps some people figure out how this is all working right now, because I think you hear about these ticket prices. I know, like me, I didn't quite understand the landscape here. Like, what am I even looking at? Where should I be going?
Just hand over your wallet.
Yeah,
Ryan.
so just that's the bottom line, I guess. Steve, we'll get you back on the news and sports desk later today, but thank you so much for joining us here and telling us your story.
Thanks for hearing it. Take care.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 8:02 on this Thursday, May 28th. Looking at a sunny day with a few clouds and a high eventually hitting 22 degrees. It's 14 right now. Ooh, actually, no, it's 16.
Wow.
It just went up.
I felt that.
Yeah, it's warm out there. Anyways, it's news time. What's going on, Lisa?
Prime Minister Mark Carney in the Big Apple today trying to take a bite out of American business. He is flirting with American business investment. CTV's Graham Richardson had a preview of his speech before the Economic Club.
He's seeing institutional investors look at Canada in a positive way for the first time in a long time. The challenge for the Carney government, converting that into tangible benefits for Canadians. Carney's advisors say his speech here will be a sales pitch for Canada at a time when many people are concerned and the Americans continue to turn inwards.
Meanwhile, Canada still seems to be on the out looking in when it comes to trade, at least with the U.S. beginning formal trade negotiations with Mexico this week, and we're being stonewalled for the moment. Longtime Liberal MP Stephen Guilbeault officially announcing his resignation yesterday, taking issue with government's shifting climate policies as part of what he refers to as a culture war on the issue. Green Party leader Elizabeth May also weighing in, expressing her disappointment in the Liberal government and some harsh words for Carney's government.
This government has turned its back on climate, and I am, as a grandmother, both enraged and heartbroken, and I know what's happening in terms of climate science. These are not political targets. They're essential. We have a pro-fossil fuel, pro-pipeline, anti-environmental regulation, anti-First Nations rights government, and I didn't expect that. I thought it would be good.
May also points out there's never been a 2-week parliamentary break in May before and says the Liberals are flooding the zone to get reports and legislation through without proper scrutiny. The BC Green Party is concerned that valuable farmland being scooped up by American billionaires. That's pushing out the family farm in some cases. The Greens say the heir to the Walmart throne, for example, owns 1.2 million acres of farmland in the BC interior. Agriculture Minister Lana Popham says she shares their concern.
The concerns I'm hearing are similar to the concerns the member is hearing. We're hearing about corporations investing in agricultural land. This includes concerns about hedge funds, large corporations and non-farm investors purchasing that farmland for activities that do not qualify for farming and also taking that land out of production for farming. Even to the extent, Mr. Speaker, that there are corporate farms that are planting bait crops for illegal trophy hunting.
Popham says she's working with the Ministry of Finance on foreign ownership, seeking information from the provinces who are facing the same issue right now. And the Immigration Department says more than 24,000 travel documents could be suspended by the government's measures to keep Ebola out of Canada.
The government announced a 90-day suspension of a variety of immigration and travel documents for people in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uganda, and South Sudan that took effect just before midnight. Those documents include electronic travel authorizations and temporary and permanent resident visas for people currently in one of the 3 listed countries. Anyone coming to Canada from Ebola-affected regions will have to undergo a 21-day quarantine, a measure that's set to expire in late August. Brenda Molina Navidad, The Canadian Press.
That's your news to 8:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning: with the price of things, the higher cost of living, including fuel prices, are you altering your summer plans, travel plans as a result? 48% saying yes on our website. That jumps to over 70% saying yes on Twitter X. You can also vote on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best. Your news time is 8:07.
Thank you, Lisa. Morning show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Happiest deals and rewards in one app. Earn Scene Plus points faster by downloading the Thrifty Foods app and linking your Scene Plus card for personalized offers just for you. It's going to be a sunny day. Few clouds. Highs eventually hitting 22 degrees, but right now 16 in Victoria. Oh, and by the way, we are close to getting one of our lucky listeners to call us and perform for us a Monty Python sketch of some kind.
Oh, good.
To win tickets to see Spamalot coming to the Royal Theatre in Victoria in August. The number is 250-386-1161. I will open up the phone lines very soon.
Okay.
That is all.
Soonish.
Soon. And we're going to do that real quick. So, first, though, the sports. Victoria Shamrocks, second game of the season last night, 11-4. Road win over the Langley Thunder. Those same two teams will play again tomorrow, this time at the Q Centre in Colwood for game number 3 of the season. Montreal Canadiens will try to regroup and avoid elimination from the NHL playoffs tomorrow. The Carolina Hurricanes blank the Canadiens 4-0 in Montreal to take a 3-1 grip on the Eastern Conference Final. Talking about it afterwards, Canadiens captain Nick Suzuki says the loss is not attributed to not shooting the puck. There was a lot of that in the crowd yesterday. It was Montreal crowd, a lot of them chanting, "Shoot the puck." Here's what Nick Suzuki said.
We're a good offensive team. I feel like we're just, some execution right at the end isn't there right now, and we're going to find a way to be better at that.
So that's with the NHL playoffs. Over to baseball. Seattle Mariners with a big win, 9-1 over the Athletics yesterday. Toronto downs Miami 2-1. That's for the Blue Jays. And then over to soccer. Canadian men's soccer team coach Jesse March is expected to narrow down his 32-man camp roster to his 26-player World Cup roster by tomorrow, as the team has been training in Charlotte, North Carolina in a pre-tournament camp. Canada's first Group B match is June 12th in Toronto against Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's your sports to 8:09, and the phone lines are open now. Give us a call at 250-386-1161. I'm going to pick a random line out of all the calls that are coming in and ask that person to give us their best attempt at a Monty Python sketch for a chance to win Spamalot tickets. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Well, apart from the usual, sometimes heavier volume delays from the West Shore into Victoria that show up on a Wednesday. I don't know if all the flex workers, the work from home folks all commute for their one-day week on a Wednesday, whatever it is. This is usually the busier day, and that's kind of playing out. I've been picking on the Royal Bay neighborhood. It's about a 45-minute commute right now from the Royal Bay neighborhood of Colwood into downtown Victoria. That's pretty normal. So typical West Shore commute is what we're looking at. No crashes or accidents. For the BC Ferries, 9 o'clock sailing is coming up. Lots of room left. And for the weather, mainly sunny and warm again today. We'll see highs of 22 degrees, a little cooler by the windy Wandafeuca Strait. A few clouds, though, coming in tonight, and with them a small chance of scattered showers now in the forecast tomorrow, which doesn't last too long. It should clear up for the rest of the day. Mix of sun and cloud for the rest of Friday and the rest of the weekend. Temperatures in and around 17 degrees as a high come tomorrow. So still very pleasant, just not quite as warm as it has been yesterday and today. Right now, 16. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto up 50 points on the day to 34,462. The Dow is now down a little bit, 26 points to 50,618. NASDAQ is up 101 to 26,776. And the Canadian dollar at 72.4 cents US, which is up a little bit over yesterday's close.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
And we want to send you to see Spam-A-Lot, the Tony Award-winning musical coming to the Royal Theatre here in Victoria in August. And Helen is our contestant today, joining us on the line. Helen, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Helen, are you a big Monty Python fan?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so that means you're probably just armed and ready to give us any Monty Python sketch you want. As you know, as long as you do a little bit of it, that's all we're asking for. What do you got for us today, Helen?
Cappuccino.
The sound effects.
Can you hear it?
I hear the sound effects, yeah.
That's it.
Which one was that?
When he's making cappuccino.
Making all the noises?
And he puts it coffee in his mouth and gurgles it all around and spits it into the cup.
Is that what you were doing?
That's exactly what I was doing.
That's the sound of you gurgling. I love that. So, Helen, when you called in, you said you had to get your props ready, and I was very excited, and you did not disappoint. That's amazing.
We're just following along.
Well, I've been practicing all week.
Amazing. Okay, have you been trying every day?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you got through today because you are going to go to see Spam-A-Lot, the Tony Award-winning musical, which is lovingly ripped off of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. That movie is kind of the inspiration. They've taken that, made a musical version of it, sort of, and that is what's coming to Victoria at the Royal Theatre in August. And you're going, Helen.
Fabulous. I saw it in New York years ago.
Oh, you did?
I just loved it.
Amazing.
Helen, you said you've been practicing all week. What have you been practicing?
Spitting out water from my cup to make a cappuccino machine.
Oh. Okay, I think you deserve to go.
Definitely deserve it. Helen, that is definitely the spirit of Monty Python. Much appreciated. Hold on the line. Don't go anywhere because we'll get your information off the air. We'll hear the news in the meantime. It's 8:15. I absolutely love this contest.
Crazy.
And we're doing it again tomorrow. Yeah, so another chance to win. But Lisa, what's going on?
Prime Minister Mark Carney in the Big Apple taking his pitch to work with Canada to New York City. Carney is in New York meeting with business leaders, attempting to draw them back to Canada as an investment destination. The PMO hasn't identified exactly which CEOs, entrepreneurs, and money manager Carney's has FaceTime with, but this trip comes as Mexican and American officials meet this week for talks on the Canada-U.S.-Mexico Agreement on Trade without the Canada involvement yet. The province says it has decided not to open an overdose prevention site in downtown Vancouver amid concerns from the city and businesses. Health Minister Josie Osborne says the local health authority will not proceed with the site at 900 Helmkin. Vancouver Coastal Health earlier said it had secured a spot as a new permanent location for the OD site in downtown Vancouver. But the mayor, Ken Sims, says he will use all tools available to block that site. The FAA is calling a mishap investigation over the recent SpaceX launch. The investigation must be submitted before SpaceX can launch Starship Flight 13. Kind of an unlucky number there. The incident in question took place on Friday during the 12th Starship flight. And a new analysis of several studies finds that eating more legumes and soy foods can bring down high blood pressure. The findings in BMG, Nutrition, Prevention and Health Journal, shows those who eat beans, lentil, chickpeas, and tofu were less likely to develop hypertension. Researchers pooled data from 12 long-term studies to reach their conclusions. Studies in the past have shown legumes and soy foods are better at overall health, but they have been inconclusive as to whether they actually help lower your blood pressure. So good to eat. And that is your news to 8:17.
While we continue to follow the ongoing story of the school board firing reversal with the Greater Victoria School Board, in another development here, a joint statement from representatives of the Indigenous Education Council, which works with School District 61, is flagging a lack of communication and transparency about this reinstatement that took place this week. They say it's concerning that the province did not consult them with a decision of this magnitude. And they're calling for better communication on the ongoing student safety plan, the governance oversight, the transition process, all of that. So let's get into it. We've got a representative of this group coming up in just a moment to talk more about it. So we're going to get into ongoing coverage of this big story this week with the Greater Victoria School Board and the reinstatement of the board. That's coming up after traffic and weather. See a traffic issue out there? Text us at 71010. CFAX 1070 Morning Show brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. Need a cab? Download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're Canadian-owned and run since 1946. Still looking pretty typical out there on the roads. No crashes, no accidents. About a 45-minute drive from the Royal Bay neighborhood of Colwood into downtown Victoria. There's an example of the commute volume. I'd say that's normal for a Wednesday, so that's sort of how things are looking right now. If you see anything else causing trouble, text me at 71010. No cars are on fire on the Malahat this morning, so that's a plus, unlike yesterday. For the weather, we've got a mainly sunny day, highs up to 22 degrees, a little cooler by the water. A few clouds overnight, but increasingly cloudy as we get into the morning hours. And then a small chance of scattered showers by tomorrow morning. Clearing, though, by the afternoon, back to a mix of sun and cloud for the rest of Friday and for the rest of the weekend. Right now, it is 16 degrees.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Let's talk more about this joint statement signed by the Esquimalt, the Songhees, the Métis representatives, First Nations across the Greater Victoria area, reacting to news that the School District 61's school board has been reinstated by the province after this court case collapsed earlier this week. They are saying, though, that there hasn't been any clear communication about all of this with the Indigenous Education Council. And one of the other people signing on to this statement is the Urban People's House Indigenous Advisory. And their chair, Ron Rice, is on the line with us right now to discuss this. Hello, how are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you.
Can I ask, when all this news broke earlier this week, the province coming out and saying, we've made an error in the court case. We've got to fold our case. We're putting the school board back. The school board trustees that had been taking the province to court over their firing. So we're undoing all of that. When all of that news came out, talk about how that hit you and like how you got that news.
our conduit to all of this is obviously the school district office and the Indigenous Education Department. And I actually heard the news because I was getting a barrage of media requests, which I didn't understand. And, sort of the first outlet I spoke to, I said, "What decision are you talking about?" And they are the ones who broke the news to me. And the only information I could find was actually through the media.
So you more or less heard through the media.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the crux of what you're talking about here. You're saying, why weren't we included in the discussion at all, or at least given a heads up? That's kind of the point here, I guess.
Yeah, I think the challenges that have been attached to all of this, stemmed from a lack of consultation with the 4 Indigenous houses, and here we are again, but this time at the hands of the ministry, and it just struck us as, of course, shocking, but just it's starting to feel a little too familiar.
Now, talk about again, because this whole issue to begin with, going back to when the board was first fired, a lot of it was over the student liaisons or the police officer liaisons in schools, and the province trying to force the school board into some kind of going back to school student liaison officers in some way, and there was a lot of it erupted in what ended up happening, the school board getting fired. I don't need to lay it all out, I guess, but remind us of where from the Indigenous side of things, because that was a big piece of this, sort of their call for this to also be reinstated was a big bit. Is that also part of this, or how are you? So this question's a bit muddled. I apologize, but just I'm trying to get to, I guess, where you guys stand on this in general, and what concerns you have now that the school board has been reinstated. That's what I'm trying to ask.
Sure. So I think, the original situation required the school board to engage with certain parties to develop their safety plan. We were in a few meetings leading up to various deadlines, offering up dates and times, and spending half days with different players in all of this, offering up time during our winter break and things like that, and weren't consulted in their final submission, weren't presented a draft of it, weren't asked for any comment or any input. And when we were asked, were you consulted, which was a requirement, we confirmed that we were not. So it wasn't that the school board was being forced in one direction. They were told, you need to submit a plan that involves all of these different parties, and they chose not to.
So given those issues back then with the school trustees, how are you feeling, and the group you represent, about the school board coming back? Have you talked to them at all?
No, we haven't. We haven't had a chance to speak. We're certainly concerned. There's been a lot of talk about overturning every decision that was made by the sole trustee. The plan that ultimately was accepted by the minister and the ministry was through consultation with all the parties at hand. So, it is concerning that our view, our opinion, our perspective will be disregarded.
Where do you think it goes from here, and what are you hoping this joint statement will accomplish?
I think it's just a reminder to the province that the very thing that was a criticism for the returning board is the action that is being taken by the province now. To exclude us from even a heads up or here's the statement, or they have huge communications teams. It wouldn't have been hard to send a note, and to be scrambling around trying to find this information, it creates an unnecessary sense of fear and panic. And I don't think that's what we need at this point. I think we sort of need to be centered around the children and the students and to be, looking at this from a productive place, not from panic and chaos.
Well, I'm really glad you could join us today and share another perspective on the story as we try to unpack it and understand the impacts of it after it emerged at the beginning of the week. Ron Rice, chair of the Urban People's House Indigenous Advisory, one of the ones on this joint statement signed by also the Esquimalt, the Songhees, and the Métis representatives, just pointing out that where's the communication from the province and all this with this group as they made that decision earlier this week. Anything else to add, sir?
No, I think that's it for now. We're the four houses are working close together to make sure we're all on the same page, and we hope to hear from the school district and the ministry soon.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll take a break. 8:30 news coming up next on CFAX 1070.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Join Capital Bike for Spring Go By Bike Week, May 30th to June 5th. Register and find celebration stations at gobybikebc.ca. Sign up for the Walk for Alzheimer's Sunday, May 31st at Fisherman's Wharf. More info at walkforalzheimers.ca.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
It's 8:30 on Thursday, May 28th. It's going to be another sunny one. It's already 16 degrees in Greater Victoria. Full forecast to come right now. The news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Days winding down for interim leader Trevor Halford of the BC Conservatives. The party will be picking a new leader on Saturday, and he will step down from the post. He says he has accomplished what he wanted while in the role.
When I took this position, there was a few things I wanted to make sure that I was doing. I wanted to stabilize caucus, but I also wanted to make sure that British Columbians knew, and more importantly, the NDP knew, that this was a government in waiting. And I think we've done that.
The party now has over 40,000 members. A new leader will be chosen on Saturday. The deadline for voting among the group is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. The bill is for the School District 61 trustee fiasco earlier this week. Education Minister Lisa Bear says once the dust settled, the cost just over $400,000.
The cost will be just over $419,000. Those costs include the back pay for the trustees, which is just under $360,000, and Dr. Kevin Godden's contract, which is just under $60,000.
That does not include the trustees' legal costs, which would have been released by them. Bear says the budget for the board will remain untouched with this.
None of these costs will be coming out of the classrooms of SD 61. We are assuming those costs, and the budget remains the same for SD 61.
The The Ministry of Education failed to provide all the necessary documents related to the case earlier this week, and then everything unfolded from that. A new report from the Office of the Provincial Health Officer on alcohol consumption is out. Apparently, we've been imbibing. Dr. Henry says across BC, they determined that Island Health Region has one of the highest levels of drinking per person.
Drinking less alcohol is better for our overall health, and that's the central message of this report. The purpose of this new report is to provide updated information and data on alcohol use and its related health, social, and public safety harms. It also describes how alcohol is currently regulated in BC, and we offer recommendations that can improve the health and well-being for everybody in the province.
So the report says people in BC drinking an average of 8.8 drinks per week compared to the national average of 8.2. But here in Island Health, we were somewhere around 11 per week. 1 or 2 drinks a week is recommended to avoid health risks. Male seniors apparently on the radar. They tend to consume the most amount of drinks, up to 15 per week. The spinning battle-top toys at World Across playgrounds around the globe in the early 2000s are experiencing a resurgence in this country. And here on Vancouver Island, we're leading the pack. Colton Derrick says he launched a Vancouver Island Beyblade League 2 years ago. Now has 120 members. He says part of the appeal is the nostalgia.
I really was into Beyblade back in like the OG Beyblade days. I think it came out in like 2001. I was really wrapped up with anime. I was walking through Walmart with my son, and my son's like 4. And I had this like crazy core memory when I saw a Beyblade up on the wall, and I was like, whoa, Beyblade is back? Like, this is insane.
Hasbro licenses the toys in North America. Hasbro Canada spokesperson says that they're experiencing a resurgence driven largely by the nostalgia and the innovation of the toy. The U.S. military has conducted another strike against Iran.
U.S. officials tell AP U.S. forces carried out new strikes Wednesday on a military facility in Iran, what they describe as defensive action. They say it came after the downing of 4 Iranian attack drones that were posing a threat around the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. forces also struck an Iranian ground control station in Bandar Abbas that was about to launch a 5th drone. It all comes after President Trump expressed confidence the U.S. was making progress in talks to end the war.
It looks like they want to just make a deal. I don't think they have a choice.
Ben Thomas, Washington.
And selling your own home and saving thousands of dollars in commission may sound tempting, but real estate broker Colin Noble says there's often a misconception that the homeowner won't be paying any commission on the sale.
If you're under the impression that you're going to list your home privately for sale and find a buyer who's not represented by another agent to avoid paying commission altogether is very, very, very slim.
Noble says even if a homeowner sells the place independently, it's likely they will owe a commission to the buyer's real estate agent. That's your news to 8:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll this morning, we're asking with cost of living in mind, including what you're paying at the pumps, is it causing you to alter your summer travel plans? About 48% saying yes on our website. That number jumps to over 70% on Twitter X. You can also vote at the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 8:37.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning. Welcome to Thursday. By the way, I was reading the weather forecast earlier and the traffic, and I was mentioning, hey, it's pretty normal traffic for a Wednesday.
That's right. Keeping us on our toes.
I meant Thursday. Sorry, everybody.
Don't make the work week longer than it is, Ryan.
It does. I understand if you're sure it's Thursday and then some guy on the radio tells you it's Wednesday, you might be like, what? Am I taking crazy pills? No, it is Thursday, just to clarify.
Good.
Okay. And the weather for Thursday is looking lovely. It's 16 degrees out there right now, and you got all the details coming up. But first, let's get to the sports. The Carolina Hurricanes picking up a 4-0 victory in Game 4 to push the Montreal Canadiens to the brink of elimination in the Eastern Conference Final. Fans at the Bell Center at one point in the third period just chanting, "Shoot the puck." Canadiens coach Martin St. Louis says his team got what it deserved.
The game's going to humble you. You know, whenever you get humble, you just stand tall. It's not fun to hear that, but they're not wrong.
Game 5 goes tomorrow in Raleigh, North Carolina. So that was hockey last night. In baseball, Toronto Blue Jays with a big win over Miami, 2-1. The Seattle Mariners, 9-1 over the Athletics. And in lacrosse, Victoria Shamrocks, their season is going. They were into Game 2 last night of the season. 11-4 win over the Langley Thunder on the road. And those same two teams will play again tomorrow at the Q Center in Colwood as they shift there for the next one. That's Friday. And that's your CFAX 1070 Sports to 8:38. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. On the roads, we've been fairly problem-free all morning. No crashes or accidents to report so far. Text us at 71010 if you see anything. For the BC Ferries, no sailing waits in. For the weather forecast, we got a few things going on. So mainly sunny today. It's another warm day, kind of like yesterday. It's already 16 degrees. We're heading towards 22 as the high. A little cooler by the water. Windy, Wanda-Fuca Strait, per usual. Then the clouds come in tonight, lows to 12. And now, we didn't have this yesterday, but now the forecast is suggesting we might see some scattered showers for Friday morning with those clouds here before they start to clear up and we get back to just a mix of sun and cloud for the rest of Friday and the rest of Saturday and Sunday, with temperatures as a high over the next few days being a little cooler, 17 degrees or so, the high temperature for Friday and the weekend. Right now, like I said, 16 degrees is where we're at least the official temperature at the Victoria International Airport. It's a little warmer at the University of Victoria, where it's 19 degrees already. And for that matter, it's 19 degrees in Colwood, I'm seeing as well. So a lot of the region getting warm already. For the business news, let's check the markets. S&P TSX in Toronto up 36 points to 40. I'm going to correct that to 34,451. The Dow is down 33 to 50,611. The Canadian dollar at 72.4 cents US, which is up a little bit from yesterday's close. And the barrel of oil up $1.07 over yesterday to $89.75 US a barrel.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
One of the big stories in the province yesterday, of course, was this deal with Germany. BC is home to Canada's first European LNG agreement. We'll be selling liquefied natural gas to Germany. So we're going to get the Minister of Jobs and Economic Development, Ravi Kahlon, joining us in a few minutes to talk about that and what this will mean for the province and how this came about. Because, we kind of built a lot of our sort of understanding around shipping LNG to Asian markets because they're so accessible to us here on the Pacific Coast. So how does Germany fit into this? We're going to talk all about that coming up. But before we get there, I want to talk about the CFAX 1070 website and the news poll.
Okay.
Because we get a lot of questions ever since we kind of refreshed our website over the last couple of weeks.
People are saying, where is it?
Where's the news poll? So it's simply put, you just scroll down. That's the
scroll down.
But I think I understand what's happening. It used to be,
yes,
if you're a news poll fan and you went to it all the time, sometimes you could just click on the little top bar. There's the little navigation bar at the top of the website, and one of the buttons was news poll. That button isn't there anymore. So I think that's maybe why people think it's gone. But it's still there, and in fact, it's even better than ever because you just scroll down and you don't have to navigate away anymore. You can vote right there on the main page. It was just down a little bit.
You'll see it. And it's on the, right-hand side.
Yeah. And for instance, right now, is the higher cost of living, including fuel prices, causing you to alter your summer travel plans? You can vote right there. And you can see, once you voted, that it's a 50-50 split right now, which I think is remarkable that people are finding that they're changing up what they're doing.
Does that surprise you, though?
Yes and no. I guess...
I mean, if your plans are already set,
Yeah.
then that's different. But if you're looking at it now, the cost of living and, and the changes and the fact that we don't feel particularly strongly about our economy right now. We want to, and I'm sure the minister coming up will have a lot to say about that because we're doing deals with other countries. But with the tariff war, ever since that happened, we've been feeling like we're on shaky ground a little bit, and that makes us not want to spend. We want to save it for the rainy day, or at least put food on the table and gas in the tank. So I kind of get that because on Twitter, which skews a little younger, over 71% are saying, yeah, I'm changing my summer travel plan. So maybe that means you're not going further afield. Maybe you're not flying somewhere. Maybe you're just having a staycation. I mean, let's face it. We live in the best place in Canada.
Especially in the summertime.
To have a staycation.
Victoria in the summer, beautiful place to be.
Yeah. So, and a lot of things coming here this summer, too. A lot of events to take part in, and a lot of them are free. So if you've got family, that factors in. If you have to travel, that factors in. So I find 71% high, but it's not surprising that so many people are saying, maybe I'll wait till the weather turns. Maybe I'll go somewhere when it's rainy and cold, instead of going in the summertime when it's beautiful here. These are the things that we have to weigh in on because cost of living and what we take in every month, that number hasn't changed as much as, say, the price of the pumps has.
Well, you can vote at the CFAX 1070 news poll, and it is on the website, cfax1070.com, with a refresh, so you can check out the shiny new website with the news poll.
Shiny.
You just got to scroll down, though.
It's a little shiny.
It's there. You just got to scroll down. Whether you're on mobile, whether you're on a browser, just scroll down. That's the short story.
Okay.
At 8:45 to the headlines, here's Lisa.
Neighbors aren't pleased with the city of Duncan. The city announcing it's launching an independent technical study to explore what realignment of the boundary of the municipality of North Cowichan could look like. It will look like the potential impacts of adjusting the municipal boundaries on services, governance, and finances, and that's expected to be done by August. The city says it's responding to interest through everything from referendums to citizen assemblies since 2014. They add the study is not about amalgamation, but about boundaries. A motorcyclist has been killed. This is in BC's Kootenay region. They hit an elk. Trail RCMP said the crash happened around 2:45. I make that 4:25 a.m. Monday on a stretch of Highway 3B in Montrose. That's about 604 kilometers from east of Vancouver. And police say they were called to the scene. Witnesses say they watched the motorcyclist collide with the animal. The 27-year-old riding the bike was declared dead at the scene. The police say the elk also died. There have been 24 deaths in collisions in BC involving wildlife between 2015 and 2024 in urban areas. We usually don't have to worry about it as much, especially with speed, but you definitely have to watch for wild animals when you're out on the highways. And Groupon has slashed about 400 positions in an attempt to rebuild as an AI native company. According to the SEC filing, the move is set to slash nearly a fourth of the Chicago-based online marketplace workforce, and the company projects annual savings of about $25 million in doing this. Groupon plans to invest half of this year's projected savings into AI infrastructure. That's your news to 8:46.
Thank you, Lisa. We'll be talking about this liquefied natural gas deal with Germany with BC's Minister of Jobs and Economic Development coming up. But first, a quick look at traffic and weather next.
It's time to ride, Victoria. Go By Bike Week returns May 30th to June 5th. Grab your wheels and bike to work, school, or wherever the wind takes you. Throughout the week, celebration stations across the region will offer free snacks, bike support, giveaways, and community vibes. Plus, there's hundreds of local prizes up for grabs. Make sure you register and log your rides for your chance to win. Go by Bike Week. For more info, visit CFAX1070.com.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather, 8:49. Still a fairly typical Thursday commute. Yes, it's Thursday today. I mentioned it was a typical Wednesday commute earlier. Well, it might be typical for Wednesday too, but yeah, we're seeing the commute volume out of the West Shore into Victoria ease off a little bit, actually, in the last 10 minutes or so. We're starting to see the commute lighten up. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010. No crashes or accidents. For BC Ferries, no sailing waits. And for the weather, oh, man, the temperatures are already quite warm out there. I mean, it's not even 9 yet, and we're seeing about 19 degrees around the University of Victoria and Brentwood Bay. On the peninsula, 18 degrees right now. It's going to be another warm one today. Although tomorrow morning, small chance of showers in the morning. It doesn't last long. We'll be clearing up and getting to a mix of sun and cloud for the rest of Friday and the weekend. But temperatures should be a little cooler come those days. 17, 18 degrees is the high for the next 3 days after today's very warm, summery kind of condition.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Canada announcing a landmark energy agreement with Germany, and it is all centered right here in BC, and we wanted to find out more about all of this after the announcement yesterday. So joining us on the line, BC's Minister of Jobs and Economic Development, Ravi Kahlon, joining us. Sir, how are you doing?
Good morning, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Great to get you here. So, yeah, we had the federal government here making this announcement. Of course, the BC government there as well. Why don't you just set the scene for us? What got announced yesterday?
Well, we've got a LNG project that we're hoping gets to final investment decision. It's a project that's led by the Nisga'a Nation, First Nations up in the north. And in this project is potentially $30 billion of investment, tons of opportunities, new jobs, new income revenues for the province. And it's one of the 6 export facilities around LNG that we're hoping to have online in the next few years. And this agreement that the federal government announced, essentially a partnership with Germany, essentially lays out that they will use this project to have a steady flow of natural gas available to Germany from British Columbia, which is something we normally don't a place where we normally don't ship to. But there's a need in the world, and BC has what the world needs.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting shift because we've often talked about when we think about LNG development in BC, the market for it often is talked about as being Asia if we're going to export overseas because they're right there across the water. It just makes sense logistically. Usually we're not thinking about Germany, but I guess things have changed quite a lot fairly quickly when it comes to energy markets.
Well, the world is shifting fast, and we had first, obviously, the war in Ukraine with Russia's incursion, and now we have what's happening in the Middle East with Israel and the United States, attacking Iran. And so the global energy supplies are shifting, and some of the jurisdictions had 70-80% of their energy coming through the Strait of Hormuz. And so countries are scrambling. And what that means is that not only are the traditional partners in Asia looking for natural gas from us, but now Europe is thinking, how do we ensure that we have a steady supply of energy when they can't rely on the Strait of Hormuz in that region? As well, they can't rely on Russia. And so, that's where Canada comes in. It's not necessarily a place that you would naturally think, Ryan, as you said in your opening comments, but the shift in the need is so great in these jurisdictions that BC looks like a good partner for them now.
Can you give me a sense of the quantities, the scale of shipments we're talking about, and the money that would be involved?
Well, this project, if they go to final investment decision, would be $30 billion of investment. And that is massive. Our goal this year, we set a goal that we would have $200 billion of investment over the next decade. And our goal was to have about $88 billion of investment coming to British Columbia in the next 2 to 3 years. And so, $30 billion investment is massive, and that means a lot of new trades and training opportunities. We're going to need a lot of people for building out this project and construction. We're going to need people for operating them. So it's a great employment opportunity. It creates a huge amount of income locally up in that region. It's great for the nation. It's great for the province and Canada as well.
But like you said, it's not built yet. There isn't actually a export terminal there, or any of this is not done. So, but is this one of the steps to getting it there? I guess now at least there's a customer at the other end that will be paying some money. Does that sort of unlock the rest of it, or what? How does this actually have to go from here?
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, having an agreement with Germany saying, hey, we want to be the buyer. We're going to buy this much for this long. It gives the potential investors in this project a lot of certainty that their investment in building this project out will be viable. And so, I would say that it gives me lots of confidence that this project will go through their final investment decision, but we still have to wait for them to do their due diligence. I think what's really important for people to know is, here in British Columbia, we have hydro, we have different energy sources. We're shifting towards cleaner power. We're really blessed, to be honest. In other parts of the world, natural gas is a critical part of their energy transition. And we know not only for their own country to operate, but also global shipping is shifting from diesel to natural gas. It's a cleaner fuel, but it means there's going to be a lot more demand, and it means a lot more opportunities for British Columbia.
So as you mentioned, it's a Niska Nation project on their territory, so that's the location we're talking about. And what actually has to get done here? So we would need is that there's a pipeline have to take natural gas to the area in question? Does an export terminal need to be built? Like, what is anything done yet, or what is to be done here?
The pipeline won't be a major issue because that's already there's already a line, and they're going to be able to get a supply. There are some important hurdles. We're going to need to provide energy. So part of the North Coast transmission line is going to be able to provide the electricity that's going to be needed for this facility. It will be one of the cleanest natural gas projects in the world, and mainly because it's going to be operating on on electricity, hydroelectricity, as opposed to burning natural gas. So that was one of the requirements we had put in place. We want to make sure that there was a fair return for British Columbians, and that it was the cleanest standard in the world. And this project meets both. And so part of the final investment decisions is ensuring that we can get the hydropower up to the site. And then the proponents need to make their final investment decision. We're hoping it's soon because that'll be really important for the economy given the global uncertainty we're dealing with.
So they got the gas, but they got to get the Northwest transmission or the North Coast transmission line. And where's that at? Because that's a BC government, BC Hydro thing, right?
It's moving forward. Yep, we got the legislation passed through the House, And so BC Hydro is starting their work. It doesn't have any major hurdles in its way. It's just a matter of now construction and the contracts going out and work is proceeding.
And are there hurdles, though, for the terminal itself?
It's gone through all their environmental assessments. If they were going to make any adjustments to it, it's an independent process away from government. So the key pieces that we need to do from the province, we have done. We have an MOU to provide them the power they need, the electricity they need, and then construction of that will happen. And now it's up to the proponents to work together to make sure that they have all their financing in place. And again, hope they make a final investment decision really soon.
Well, interesting stuff. Again, big news in BC yesterday and in Canada as we got this deal to sell the LNG to Germany. Now he's going to build it. So Ravi Kahlon, Minister of Jobs and Economic Development, thanks for talking us through the story this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ryan. You stay safe.
Yeah, you too. Okay, we got to take a break here because it's the 9 o'clock news next, and I'm done for the day. Vassy Capellos taking over the talk show microphone with national news out of Ottawa. That's all coming up next right here on CFAX. Thanks to Morgana Adby for producing today's show, and we'll talk again soon.
CFAX Victoria,
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, I'm Lisa.